someone came up and told you that you could be a professional gamer, those two words were never put together till very recently. My name is Abhish Matthew. I'm a gaming enthusiast. I've seen the gaming industry grow, and as a fan of gaming, I am so excited to meet one of the OGs on today's Dell Futurist Level Up Mentor Sessions. I'm talking about none other than the incredible Ankit Pant, who you might know as Venom. What's happening, Ankit? It's so nice to see you. How are you doing?
Hey Avish, thank you so much for that introduction. It's good.
I really want to know your journey of how you became a pro gamer. You've gone from being defeated in an internet cafe to representing the country. That's like a full character arc in like a fiction story that you might have. How much of this is like a birth instinct and how much of it is literally you worked on it?
I would say there's hardly any instinct, to be honest. Yeah, I'm still working. I had to work a lot, and it is not that easy how people think you can become a pro gamer just by playing games. I also thought the same when I started playing in that cafe, and every guy who used to come there started defeating me, and then I was like, I'm not good. Then slowly I became the best player in that cafe. People started noticing me, and I was like, okay, I have arrived. But as soon as I started playing national level tournaments, semi-professional level tournaments, again I was thrashed. My team was thrashed. We used to lose very badly, and then again I got, it made me think, I think there's still a long way to go.
Ankit, as a professional gamer, how important is it to be professional at only one game? Can you say about be a professional gamer at CSGO, but also maybe Dota?
It is very, very, very difficult. You can imagine me playing 10 to 12 hours and then expecting to, give that much time to a game, because it's not like you are connecting your mouse, keyboard and just going there guns blazing. All these strategies, all these timings, all these things that have, taken a lot of my years to understand. If you talk about CSGO and Dota 2, completely a big no. And but if you talk about FPS with FPS, I am trying that actually. I have started playing another FPS game, which is Valorant. The shooting seems to be a little easier, but again the utilities, the map timings are going to take a lot of time for me to understand these things. So the answer to these questions you will get after maybe few more years. But right now all I can say is it's difficult, and I'm still figuring it out.
Okay, that's actually a great point as such, because again, from a third-person perspective, you're a professional gamer, so you should be able to play all games. That's incorrect to say, because if you're an athlete, if you're a sports person, you're still a sports person in a particular sport. What I hear you saying is commit. Like you gotta commit to one game and give it all. And does it make you wonder what if it was another game, or you are 100% sold? This is it.
I'm sold that this is it. Now, to challenge myself, yes, I've started learning new games to see will I be able to answer your question. Can you go competitive in another title also if you're playing one? So for Abhish Matthew, I will do that. I am going to try really hard and see if I can answer that question in a couple of years.
What are those mistakes that most of the noob new pro gamers do that you wish you could tell them ki bhai baat sun, aise nahi karte, ye karte hain? You can tell that to me.
So some mistakes that I have also done, and I have noticed a lot of people doing it, for playing with a shotgun initially or a machine gun and thinking you are Arnold, and you will go all guns blazing, but that doesn't work in competitive Counter-Strike. I used to play with a lot of nades also, कि नहीं आएगा तो मैं सिर्फ nade कर दूंगा मुंह पे, and the guy will die. But it doesn't work in competitive CS. So you have to learn all the utilities, you have to learn all the guns, you have to understand how the game works. Only then you can call yourself a pro gamer.
So is it important for every pro gamer to get so comfortable with every weapon that depends on your role in the game, you can switch your weapons as well?
Like I was saying, now I am an entry fragger. Most of the time I play with rifles, but I also know how to use the op. Now, when I have a low HP, and I know that one AK bullet or one M4 bullet is going to kill me, that's when I kind of ask my opper to give me the op, and give him my AKs. I know not every weapon you can master, but you should know how to use everything. And you should have few weapons where you can turn rounds which are already lost in your favor.
So I would like to get one more point from you, which is about like a somebody like me who wants to get into professional gaming, even as an enthusiast, or imagine if someone wants to get competitive. How important is it for an individual gamer to play with multiple groups out there so that you can come with the strategy and play together? Or is the objective that new players should only play with one team so that you sync well together?
See, you should definitely indulge in the community, because a lot of players will do things differently from things that you do, and you could learn. But again, switching teams is not what I advise people. If you're starting, start with the 5 people whom you trust, who have a long vision, who can be consistent, who are passionate, who will not keep going here and there just because you are losing some tournaments. You need consistency, and that's how the team chemistry is built. Only these things will bring consistency.
On a scale of skill, strategy, how important is map awareness?
There are certain angles on the map where you could see the enemy first. There are no hidden places as such, because we have played a lot of these maps multiple times, so we know each angle and we know all the spots that are there in the map. You have to understand how the players are moving in the map by looking at the radar, by seeing how the team is playing, what time the team is pushing, all these things.
It brings me completely smoothly into something that I personally am something I feel very connected to. It's developing a skill. I feel like you're talented, and then after that it comes to your hard work developing a particular skill. Is that what you would call battling with bots comes first, or with an AI, or with a computer? Or do you directly recommend people like us to throw yourselves into the deep end ki ab jao professionals ke sath multiplayer khelo?
I started playing with bots. I used to keep killing them to understand burst fire, to understand single taps, to understand what's my spray control is like, how I need to improve. Then you can start playing multiplayers, like online with your friends, so that you learn team communication, you learn a little bit of strategies, official maps. Then you can start playing tournaments to see where you stand, how much more you need to improve. So it's like level 1, level 2, level 3.
Any other way that someone like me can become a professional player other than just spending time? Anything else we could do?
You can just pray to the god otherwise, and if he decides, then magic will happen. Or else you have to give time. There is no other way.
Do you think these gaming gods exist on YouTube, and how much of watching it tutorials does it really help?
So these all gamers, streamers, and websites and articles, all these things will help you get you closer to where you want to be. But eventually I think you have to kind of build your own play style, understand how what is what are your pros and cons, and that is only going to help you in the longer run.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about someone like a noob like me about the graphics card? What is a refresh rate? How important is it when you're playing?
If you are playing casually, like AAA titles, heavy titles like Doom Eternal, GTA, Assassin's Creed, Witcher 3, these are some of the heavy titles, AAA games, and you want to play on maxed out graphics, you need a good graphic card like a 2080 RTX or 2070 RTX. Refresh rate, I would definitely recommend you to go for Alienware 25 to 40 Hz. You will feel the difference. You will see improving your game when you switch from playing on 60 Hz and then playing on the Alienware 240 Hz. Also, the Alienware laptops, one thing that I love about them, the cooling on these laptops is pretty amazing. I remember once or twice I've played on my friend's laptop and it used to heat a lot. When I play on my Alienware machines, it doesn't heat that much.
Wow, I feel like I could sit with you for days and I can just like little by little noodle all the information I need out of you. But let's see what I've learned so far. What I've realized it's the extreme commitment that every sports person has in a conventional sporting event is the same mental and physical commitment that you need to do as a pro gamer.
Basically, pro gaming does not happen overnight. It requires practice, patience, and perseverance. But the gaming industry, I feel, is so much more and so much bigger than pro gaming. And the next mentor session is about all the different careers you can take up in this industry.
Thank you for having me for the Dell Futurist Level Up Mentor session, man. And I shall definitely tune in for the next one. All right, Ankit, I shall see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Also known as Venom in the gaming world. This is Mentor Session 2 powered by Dell Futurist. From being a broadcaster to a tournament hosting company, it's not just about professional gaming. There are various other options that you can choose from depending on what you like and what you want to pursue. Today we have with us Kiran aka Shade Slayer, who's going to help us out. Hey Kiran, how are you?
Hey Venom, I'm doing good, man. What's up, gamers? I'm Shade Slayer, Kiran Nujubel. I'm the director for Esports and Broadcasting at LXG, and I get to handle quite a bit in terms of tournaments that are happening in and around the country, from all the way from planning tournaments, executing them, and my personal favorite is getting to be a part of the tournament broadcasts.
Nice. So you being a professional shoutcaster, who are shoutcasters? What is their skill set? That would be my question. Are there any qualifications needed to be one?
So for viewers out there who wondering what is shoutcasting, it is nothing but esports commentating. Why is it called shoutcasting? I think that is primarily because of the energy that the commentator brings with him. You need the pros coming in with those huge plays, but I'd say only when it is coupled with the shoutcaster's voice does that entire experience reach its pinnacle. You don't really need to be proficient in English alone. There's a lot of opportunities in local languages as well. I cannot stress enough of how in-depth the shoutcaster needs to have an understanding of the game. Primarily because there are going to be a lot of aspects that the pros are going to use to their advantage. A lot of small, tiny little plays, which need not mean a lot straight to the eye, but there'll be a world of thinking that goes behind it. And unless the shoutcaster can catch that and pretty much convey the same to the audience is also not going to catch wind of it.
Oh, that is great information. I'm sure people who watch this masterclass are going to enjoy the information that you gave on shoutcasters. Now coming to tournament broadcasters. What do broadcasters do? How does one become a broadcaster? Do you have any experience that you can share with us?
100%. So, number of tournaments in India have been growing significantly over the last 3 to 4 years, and especially with the current situation where LAN events are almost impossible. Online events have become the new trend, right? And the only way a viewer, a gamer who's sitting at home gets to experience this is via a tournament broadcast. There are other aspects involved as well. There are designers and, of course, editors who are involved in bringing up certain few scenes, certain few overlays that you see on the streams. There are observers. These are guys who basically handle the camera angles that you get to see. Quick reference would be in CSGO itself. You have the primary observer whose POV is what you are watching. So you basically get to watch the story that he is telling you. And then there is an entire team that handles the online production.
I remember this thing. I think last year during Intel ESL 1, which was Dota Mumbai, Dota 2. I went there and I know I got the opportunity of going backstage. And you know, there were so many people with so massive machines, walkie-talkies, handling all the tech aspects, broadcasting it. That's when I realized that it's not a piece of cake.
At its absolute bare bones, like you said, you have the game, you have the OBS, you have a mic, you're all set. That is the absolute basic way of doing it. And then on the complete other side of the spectrum, you have your massive LAN event tournament broadcasts, which involve hundreds of people backstage handling that with a lot of hardware that goes in as well.
Now coming to tournament hosting companies, like if someone wants to not do tournament broadcasting or shoutcasting, and he just wants to get into a company who hosts tournaments, what do these companies do?
This is nothing but an end-to-end execution of the entire tournament. This, of course, includes quite a few things. Of course, planning initially on what the tournament is going to be about, what is the duration going to be, when are the announcements happening, all that that goes in. I'd say the best way to dive into this is start off as a tournament admin. So being a tournament admin, being at the ground level, gives you an understanding of the working of how to run a tournament. The tournament admin is the one who talks to your customers. So he plays a very pivotal part in the organization process, and of course is the best starting point for someone to learn about all of this.
So you keep the admin happy, you keep the customer happy.
The admin keeps the customer happy, the tournament hosting organization and everyone in it are happy.
Gaming related media, Kiran, how do these services help the gaming industry? Like I've heard about IGN, Water Culture.
Gaming media, they report on everything related to gaming and esports. This involves quite a few things. Game reviews for all the casual gamers out there. This is what they rely on before making a game purchase decision. Yeah, these guys very religiously follow all the tournaments, what are the small little plays that have happened in this tournament, and you basically have all that information at your doorstep at any time that you need.
I completely agree. As a pro gamer, when I started, we had these Indian media houses like Talk Esports and a couple of them. I think Gaming Central was one, and these guys had published our articles, published about me, had taken my interviews. And back then I knew the market is pretty niche. Our gaming industry is still growing, right? So you have to start somewhere. And at that point of time, I could see the dedication of these media houses. Like they were core into gaming. And I also used to get my news from these channels as well. Where are the tournaments happening, what are the teams that are being made, roster shuffles, everything. I used to follow these guys for the information. This is what keeps you connected basically. Now coming to the third point, which I have, can anyone start a YouTube channel and get into media?
I believe anyone can start a channel and get into it. Do you become successful? I think is a completely different question. It is very simple for anyone out there to actually set up your own YouTube channel and start putting content out. It is not going to take you more than an hour to have created your first video, started your channel and put it out there. But
like if you cover a team or do interviews and then after a week you say you are tired, you will do the next interview next month. That it doesn't work that way. But eventually, if you want to grow, you have to be consistent. You have to create your own content and do it from the heart. This is what I've seen, and it works. It takes time, but it works.
Having unique content, like maybe even analysis and impact for a professional player in maybe what he can expect and what he needs to be ready for in the months to come. Small niche things like that, which I don't find a lot of out there. I think is like what you said, is what's going to keep you unique.
So Kiran, we have spoken about shoutcasters, tournament broadcasters, tournament hosting companies, gaming related media. Now moving on to cosplayers. When we go for LAN tournaments, I think most of them before the finals have this cosplay competition. So I'm sure cosplay scene is also improving in the country. I remember I've seen Crystal Maiden. Just because I played Dota 2, I remember these names. Yeah. I've seen Phantom Assassin, and those cosplays were not easy, to be very honest.
I would say cosplay plays a very big part on attracting the audience to come down to the event in itself. They want to come in, they love these gaming characters, and they want these gaming characters in their PCs coming to life in front of them. And that is the exact experience that cosplayers offer.
So I also remember speaking to a couple of cosplayers, and they told me while they were clicking pictures, They said we prepare our cosplays a month or 2 months earlier that this is what we are going to cosplay from, because they make most of them. I think they make all the costumes by themselves, right?
There is months of grind that goes into that costume, from the initial planning, the concept in itself, to building the entire cosplay costume and performing during the event. It's a community that has a very friendly community that has come together to make these sophisticated designs come to life, and I'm super hyped to see what's in store in the future for us.
Kiran, whatever we've spoken about, I think it wouldn't be possible without the developers and publishers, right?
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you this. What is the difference between a developer and a publisher?
The publisher is one that brings the game to the public. He can develop the game internally at his own studio, or he can do it externally with a video game developer. So we've seen the games and how they have, I'd say, evolved over the years. I think the gaming hardware has taken a very similar route. I remember the absolute first rig that I had. It was, I believe, 2 MB RAM, 400 MB hard disk with no graphics card, and a 486 megahertz processor. And from playing DOS games on that, over the years we've come a very long way.
I completely agree. You can't, play games professionally for sure if you don't get a good FPS. Like, I've seen people telling you can become a pro, play no problem, 50 FPS is fine, 40 FPS is fine. It's not fine. I've witnessed it myself, playing college tournaments on 20, 30, 40 FPS, and now playing tournaments, practicing on my Alienware machine.
How sophisticated it is today, I think, with a lot of in-depth production that goes into each of these games, whether it is the animators, it is your producers, your level designers, kind of signifies the journey for me of how gaming has evolved over the years.
Thank you, Kiran. This was really helpful.
Thank you so much, Venom, for having me. Hope all the viewers out there got a little bit of an insight on what goes on in gaming, besides just the esports athlete version of it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. I'm Shaysir. Joining me is OG, the low-res chicken, as always. It is time for the semi-finals. Best of threes today and tomorrow, and we're gonna be kicking things off with Mighty going up against Force Crew here. We've had the map veto done. Let's have a look at the maps that we're gonna be playing today. We have Mirage, Dust 2 and Inferno. Mirage, of course, picked by Force Crew, and Mighty will be starting on the CT side. Dust 2 picked by Mighty, and if required, a decider on Inferno. OG, thoughts on the map picks?
Well, like in the games prior, I've seen a trend where people are going with their comfort picks more, which enables their adversaries to be comfortable as well, right? Mirage, Dust 2, Inferno. You cannot get a more indigenous map pool than this. So I'm expecting this to go all the way. It might even go to a map 3, but I assume that Force Crew might have the better end of the stick. I feel like all these maps are a little more aim-centric apart from Inferno, and I feel like they are more stacked in the firepower department. So I guess my prediction here would be 2-1 going Force Crew.
I kind of agree with that as well. I'm not sure who's going to take it since it's very even Stevens. Whatever we've seen so far from these two teams, they haven't really been pushed to the limit. They've had relatively easy runs, and this is going to be their true test. I think one more thing, aspect that we haven't really explored is depth of map pool as well, which is going to be at display today. Of course, it is 3 generic maps, but I still feel just that team which has the slightly better comfort in all these 3 maps is going to come out on top. Regardless, I do feel that it is going to be going the distance here to map number 3 as well. Let's talk a little bit about Mirage, OG. We have Mighty starting off on the CT side. We can probably continue this conversation as we jump straight into the match itself as the timer is going down. How many rounds do you think Mighty need here on the CT side, OG? Because we've seen matches over the last few days. It hasn't really been firing all cylinders on the CT side, rather the T side having the advantage in these matchups, OG.
Yeah, so you're right in that assumption, and I'd say a 7-round gap is what we'd expect on the CT side, at least for Mighty and Volvo. Smart stuff he's doing there with the Glock. He's actually faking the bomb drop noise, which does get simulated with the pistol, which will set up this A hit to maximum effect as all the defense is stacked towards CT. The smoke towards jungle suggests that they want to take the brawl on fight towards CD as well. With these 2 men stacked towards Sticky Boot, it might unleash the unexpected Pandora's box that plays in the action. Hitman goes with yet another frag. Cracker takes one down. It's all gonna be on Involver, who mind you was in charge of selling the fake. But Mighty are not gonna be believers. Forest Crew going down in vain with that pistol round. Balti, not really sure if that information wasn't relayed as quick enough, but when there is a smoke towards jungle, you can fancy a plan towards B short, which can be defended through ramp and covered at CT. So maybe some things that Force Crew could have reconsidered in that pistol round as well.
I mean, they were on point there with the mind games. They had the strategy down, but lacking a little bit in the execution. Pretty much came down to that first player rushing through CT. A pretty hit and miss play. If you do get the frag, then it's job done. If not, you almost ensure that you've thrown away a man for free, but the pushback very fast. Wati goes down as well. The idea there was get the fast play in, get the plant, but part B of that plan never saw the light of day. Mighty in position. Pretty much always boils down to that initial player charging through, the 2 or 3 pistols being able to overwhelm the first rifle on sight. And when that doesn't become the case, more or less, the anti-eco does end up in quick fashion, which was the result right there. Hank peek back towards mid. It's up against the rifles though. Ballsy play does end up trading a little bit of damage, but Cracker towards mid continues to hang around with the scout. Scout a deep Molotov. Smoke back out towards CT, but it's ST who opens the first one up in the connector push.
Crumble so far. Hank, good position to try and get a little more work done, but Habs perfectly aware as to his whereabouts. They've left themselves with a chance in this one. They've regrouped. SWAT's headed towards B with the bomb. Are they going to try and fake this one? They are leaving Habsy behind with a little bit of utility. He has 2 flashes here, mind you, which will aid them a lot in the entry. Hitman is in a position where he can quickly rotate and try to even support this angle held by Dastan. And he does have the smoke here, so he's lined up for the smoke towards B apartments as well. With 35 seconds left, he perhaps might want to commit. There we go. Just about gets it done. Wrecking Thunder. It's going to be on the push. Dastan, is he going to be clear? Here's the question, because it's all going to be upon him. Thunder, quick and aware about everything about this. Hitman, defense might have been telegraphed, but he stands up tall for that first kill. It leaves SWAT in a very uncomfortable 1 versus 2 because he has only 1 HP to work with. Plans towards inverse default. Cracker, he's gonna hear the digits go down and hunt him. Merciless. 3-0. Beautiful start here from Mighty. Force Crew, they might have, if they would have gotten the plant in the round prior, alongside maybe a couple more ecos, they could have gotten into a really good buy. I still feel like something that might change for Force Crew is their T side op. We know that they have really good operas on the T side in the form of Thunder, in the form of Habs, in the form of Bati as well from time to time. So it might just be that early momentum that Mighty gain. Let's hope that their economy grows strong. That's one trend that we have seen a little lately that eliminates the possibility of a comeback, to have that good economy and not allow the other side to gain traction of a round victory.
Hank is in a pretty vulnerable position here above the smoke. He's barely managed to conceal his position. Definitely spots the first tee out, but little does he know there are multiple players there. Oh, they take down Hitman towards short, and that opens up quite a bit of space here. No crossfire setup available, and Habs unfortunately unable to get the trade in. Hank gets the frag pretty much for free there. Tagged down to 50 HP. The boost into a sniper nest though. The CTs weren't really ready for that. SWAT.
And that... The swing's not in. Cracker, he's watching the passive angle. He's allowed CT to be a little leaked. And that's gonna cause...
ST. Oh no, he survives. He eventually will go down. SWAT able to readjust, get the spray back in. The retake with the AWP. The rifle is down to 35 HP. I think this is the time you probably swap the weapons around if you do find an opportunity back in. But Dastan tagged further down. Cracker holds the angle. Wati, it's going to come down to him not offering an angle into this. In fact, is this going to swing wide? Dastan goes down as well. It was a pretty risky move there, OG, to swing wide, especially when two players have covered up your angle. But Wati still manages to come out on top, buying the perfect bait for SWAT to go for the cleanup. First round on the board for Force Crew. And looks like the CTs are immediately in a hard place with the buy, OG.
Really hard place. And this is what I was mentioning about, right? How the momentum swing works lately. Mighty did not have that great of an economy to sustain that loss. And mind you, it was Force Crew who kind of lived up to the name of being forced up. A huge round, one out early to try and give them a chance to fight back. Not allow Mighty to get that lead that comes with momentum. This indeed is going to be a really, really close map. And Hank taking down Habs. Little did he know the smoke towards nest had already dissipated. A little too honed into his short. Does end up taking his life short. And now with the man disadvantage, Force Crew committing the bomb towards mid. With the rotation through underpass, you could assume that Vati will be playing a pivotal role to hold down, be short, and allow the plan to go down, at least in a comfortable spot, denying the CTs an easy avenue to rotate. But through the wall, would you have it any other way? Dastan pinning down the men as if the job wasn't done initially. Hitman, beautiful with the deal, up close and personal, takes things to action. And out of the flick of a switch, 2 versus 4. This is all going down the drains. It's all left on Vati. It's already discovered. 3 upgrades in the rifles for Force Crew, for Mighty. And Force Crew are gonna really regret how they played out that round. Far too split up, far too easy pickings given away to Mighty without any refrag setup whatsoever.
Unfortunate, the Force Crew, like you said, way too many individual frags offered up, especially towards mid when they were looking to try and look for chinks in the armor of the CTs. Absolutely no trade potential for the initial couple of frags, and the push eventually threw the smoke up at balcony. They walked into a slaughter there. Mighty immediately pull a round back, make that force by work. So it is time for the T's to kind of try the same. The nade, the incendiary, they're going to continue to force through this. Spray away, doesn't do good though, but Hitman is in position for the cleanup. It's just SWAT now, 1v3 with the Deagle. He's going to need 3 amazing shots, not going to find a single. 5-1.
Yep.
The initial spray was a little questionable though. OG decides to move in under the window and pretty much lost eyes on half the T's coming in. Luckily he manages to get the 1 frag and did have cover from B short as well to delay the T's just enough to ensure they don't get the plant in.
Force did end up in way of damage in the round prior, so if they do by any stretch of the imagination win this round, it definitely will put Mighty in a hard spot. They're being smart here on that T side, knowing that as soon as they start winning that round, at least the economy will start favoring them, right? Which puts them at better odds to win the foreseeable rounds coming up post that victory. So you've got to also assume the fact that this map, and especially this tournament long, we've been seeing a lot of these momentum sways, and Force Crew are just going with what's meta right now, which is not allowing the CD side to get any good margin at their economy. There should be a flash accompanying the peak. Hitman going to be playing up close and personal too. Where's that smoke? A lot of bullets whizzing past him. They're going to be committing on the entry. Thunder needs some sort of support. Hitman still not traded out. Finally, double peek and it yields them that kill, but at the 2-man disadvantage, the costs far outweigh the benefits. The shoulder spot is given the cold one in that as well. Cracker misses the sitter. Hank above stairs ends up whiffing big time. Cracker is down to 38 HP. Luckily, he does have backup headed his way. Involver, there's 25 seconds left and a bomb to be planted. Does he commit or does he go on the save is the question. Cracker has left the site, leaving this to a doable 1 versus 1 for now, which then should be transitioned a little easier thereafter. But SD is gonna close any hopes and dreams for Involver, plus that 1 out. 6-1. Force Crew just fall completely flat towards their A setup. 1 counter smoke and they were done for.
If we did actually look at Force Crew's match from the earlier rounds, this was something that they did time and again, OG. It wasn't sophisticated executes, but straight up being able to set each other up with flashbangs, always coming out on top of duels. It was as simple as that, but today they're going up against a lot more firepower, and that exact same strategy no longer seems to be working for them. And the question now comes, how deep is their strat book to go ahead and change something that they've been doing time and again every single one of their previous rounds, OG?
Oh no. Like, can't even take anything away from that shade. It's exactly that, right? Where they're giving away these individual kills. Normally on another day, you'd expect them to win those 1 versus 1s, but when you're not able to come up on top of your engagements, it's the basics that try and push you past that hurdle. It's the basics that try you to at least be in a position where you're like, okay, cool, we've done the minimum. We still have a chance at it. That's when they can start getting their positivity back. That's when they can start getting on their A game, because it's not in a position where Mighty are even thrown off edge. They're so comfortable playing against this setup that Force Crew have that they've not broken a sweat as of yet. The only time you can force errors out of your enemy is when they are the ones who are imbalanced. They're the ones who are impatient. They are the ones who are slightly distracted from what their main goal is and deter a little away, which you end up capitalizing upon. That's the mental game that comes into CS.
Well, they call the timeout just as this first half is beginning to run away from the tees here. They're not going to have money at least for this round, but we've seen them being prolific with the pistols, and they've got armor backing this up as well, which means if they do manage to snag away a rifle or two, they can just as easily come back in with a shout. The peak with the AWP Cracker. There's a lot of T's lining up in this direction. He goes for an aggressive peek. He gets the tag, I believe, onto a couple of them. The Incendiary, they're going to continue to force through this. In fact, a couple of them getting burnt on the way in here. Cracker is good with the P250. Blind as a bat. He's going to nail them in for the last one. AWP. He does get it through the smoke eventually, OG. What a hole by Cracker.
Okay. That was... See, this is what I'm talking about, right? They're enjoying themselves. They're not even pressured on the face of a rush. Cracker is just going at it. Even when blind, this man doesn't stop shooting. Forest crew definitely do need to start applying the pressure now, before it gets far too comfortable for Mighty to start getting even past that double-digit dominant score. Wrecking Thunder, a really good shot, nets them the first kill, and it's on Cracker, who was manning the AWP, mind you. Oh! Jumpy, ambitious stuff, I like it, but it doesn't end up working, and the double commitment towards mid ends up costing them the man advantage, putting them in the disadvantage. The op, till up, actually the double op, as a matter of fact, on a Vathi and Had. Stun. He's been confident the entire half. He, in fact, is eager to take this kill. It's Vathi who need to start trying and punishing this kind of aggression. The defense is fairly split. It's a 2-2 for now, which will enable a little bit of a late rotate if Force Crew do end up penetrating one of these sites. But the only win condition here is to penetrate one of them. The Molly gives away Vathi's whereabouts. The rotation's coming in, but that's where Involver is going to strike in, as he has the backlines under his belt. Now he can telegraph to his team how the defense is set. ST is making his way back. Oh, the whiff! The whiff! Involver cannot get involved in the scene. And this has been quite the depressing round for Forster, to say the least. Straight through the smoke and the stun. Just absolutely feeling himself today. 9-1, and what a mighty start on the CD side.
And this is Force Crew's map pick, mind you, OG. They were supposed to be the ones taking this. We talked about how most of these maps are generally played quite a lot, and that should be the case with both these teams as well, and it's going to be the small nuances that eventually separate one from the other. But looks like Force Crew have put themselves in a spot of bother here, having completely left themselves out to dry. Oh, that kind of sums up the first half so far. Mighty. They do look almighty, OG.
Oh, mighty. How? Coming into this matchup, I expected it to be completely dead even. This is just Force Crew being forced in quite the difficult situation here. 10-1. Not even a fight put up so far. Mind you, the previous round was a gun round from Force Crew. What's happened here, Shade? What do you think is... Alright, we've kept emphasizing on how Force Crew have gone wrong. But how could they go right? What could they do right now? With the way Mighty are playing, they have a pretty aggressive setup towards mid. Their utility usage towards B is pretty nice. Given their A defaults consistently failing, what they potentially could do is have a fake set up towards mid with crossing and a couple of flashes deployed initially. Thereafter, you commit towards B with a smoke at B short and perhaps market window. It at least will isolate the play towards side and get you a side to work with. That's been what would call rare occurrences when it comes to the Force Crew T side as of yet, and the stun with an absolutely amazing spray down. Quad kill. Just shows us exactly why we need to be on recoil masters. 11-1. It just got from bad to worse. Force Crew. It's not that they're not getting frags. It doesn't even feel like they're confident.
Well, I gotta be frank, OG. I did not see this coming, and I think the part of the failure from Force Crew is the fact that the previous rounds as well, they've pretty much been playing it in a very thuggy style where you want to take these aim duels fight after fight. But when you do have the utility usage like Mighty have with the kind of setups they have, it just becomes so hard to time and again catch the CTs off guard. We've seen them rushing through smokes, rushing through mollies, have a few pop flashes, turn up with the numbers, play fast. This has been pretty much the signature style from Force Crew, and it has worked marvelously in the past. The problem is Mighty are just been playing a little too disciplined for them to get caught out for this. And Involver, wait, he sneaked himself all the way towards the site. He spots the first player out. Will he be ready for the second? He will.
Hits the all-important one. Does he have any anticipation of Dustan coming through ramp now is the question. He anticipates a CTP. 40 seconds left. This is going to be a really crucial clutch. Not accounted for. Gets the kill on Involver. It goes from bad to worse. 12-1.
A valiant effort there from Involver. 1v3, that second shot was nasty, but it again boils down to the fact that they try contact play very early in these rounds. Even right there, Mighty were full on ready at the A site. And this time, AWP out Cracker. They have the tag team available. Hank, an unusual miss. Something that we haven't seen in quite a bit of time. He's getting pushed in, but he's ready. He's got the sound cues. Will he be ready for the player through? Oh, he's got backup. Never mind. Scratch that.
Oh my god.
SWAT, however, is coming in with the backstab. He's got the one kill, but again, 1v3 situation. We've seen this a million times.
Ooh. Disgusting stuff. What?
Push through ladder room. This is something that, he in fact does get the shot in, but off the mark. Dastan again on point, 13-1 OG. This has been quite the beating so far.
It has. Force Crew. I'm not really sure what's happened to them today. For the past few days, they've been looking with a really, really good form. Hey, it might even come down to a scenario where they might not just be prepared for map 1, right? We've seen a lot of series where teams end up creating maps and it forces to a map 3. So a best of 3 certainly will be a really, really, really good thing today for Force Crew, considering that they are no longer in threat of single elimination. But they still have to provide something in the way of results, right? You can't have a map like Mirage where it's essentially about 20% of the pugs you play lose you, especially on a team on a 5v5 or 13-1. The nade, yeah, it ended up costing him his life. This might just be the last round and a half, at least netted by Force Crew. Ambitions are high and they are being delivered upon. A 3 versus 2 now. Certainly possible here in the post plan. SWAT absolutely needed to land that frag. Hank, he's doubting himself. Did they go for this, or did they try and isolate play to its side? It seems like they want to take the contest. So what's good on taking one of them down? And Vathi, the timing. It worked against him. Diffuse gonna be coming in 14-1. Beautiful stuff coming in from Mighty so far. They look really, really, really solid to make it to the finals.
Well, Force Crew has been a super slow start to this best of 3 series. They've been blown away from the server in this entire half, and it's just been Mighty playing disciplined CS. It hasn't really been them taking Force Crew on their fights. It has been just ensuring that Force Crew doesn't really surprise them with these unorthodox, aggressive plays that we've seen them do time and again. And the problem with that kind of a strategy is it is pretty one-dimensional. If it doesn't work, chances are you don't really have too much more to offer, and unless Force Crew can change that up in Dust 2, we might just see more of the same. Habs is completely unchecked all the way at the back. He's gonna go for the reload. Will eventually go down. Crackers in a 1v4. Pistol round at least going the way of Force Crew. They have control of the C4. Cracker shouldn't really have any chance back into this, especially with Vati already watching this angle down. 58 seconds remaining in the clock. Decent bit of time for Cracker to try and make something happen, but he needs to crack on it. He's seen the first player. Vati spotted him out as well. The wide swing back out. He's got 3 players looking in this direction, and it's just a matter of time. Force Crew, second round on the board. A long road back if they are even thinking about this at this point of time, which I'm sure they're not. They're probably saying, hey, we got the guns. The T's probably don't. Let's clean this up fast and kind of look forward to the rounds to come. Try and sneak as many rounds as they can in this match, and that's going to be a big confidence booster for them as they do head into Dust 2.
But it's absolutely crucial they win out this round, though. Rotations called in early. Habs spots Hitman 2 with Firebox. Should be an easy cleanup thereafter. Habs, again unaccounted for, gets what we down here like to call Muftiya. 14-3 nonetheless. Mighty, they tried to dam the economy, did not come to as much success. But Force Crew, they have a very, very small margin of error. They can, in theory, pull this off. We've seen massive comebacks, but this will be the hardest of us we've even seen in this tournament so far.
Well, the T's, they're still on the pistols, but they've got a little bit of utility to try and make this round interesting here. Counter smoke deep in from the CTs as the Recting Thunder holds the angle down. Vati towards short. The C4 is actually all the way towards A. So this is the 4-man aggression to B to try and set up for a possible plant at A.
And oh, it's
Habs has made the rotate. Oh no! He's bought it.
The plant should be going down, and it's towards B short as well. So it's essentially going to be planted for Dastan. You can just disengage, fall back, relax, have a lemonade, and be back for the fight. Doesn't Volvo even save in this one? He has the defuse kit. Mighty. Pull up the Mighty strat. And Force Crew sold the fake 15-3.
Oh no, they
map 1.
yeah, they make a meal against the pistols there. That was actually a strat that we've seen Force Crew themselves attempt multiple times up in pugs, in tournaments, and it's a refreshing change that their opponents try and pull this one off against them, and the aggression. Wati goes for the gamble towards underpass and it doesn't pay off. That's huge. Dastan getting another pick off. Is this the beginning of the end, OG?
It certainly does paint a similar picture. Cracker being discovered towards top mid. Thunder falling back. ASAP fails to break the vents and swats towards all the way back in CT. In fact, gets the stun towards Palace. They've suddenly fought their way back into this one. Bomb gonna be picked up by SD, headed in all the way from ramp, but he's at critical health. He'll need to plan for B short, where Hitman will be able to provide the perfect cover. The smoke through CT, there won't be any man peeking him immediately. SWAT, he's just about gonna call the rotation. Plan? Are you serious? You plan for CT when your comrade's covering towards jungle? Alright, something that you don't really see as often. Nonetheless, Force Crew still on a difficult retake, as Headman's already set up for a kill on Thunder, and SWAT down at 37 HP. He gets a beautiful frag on a Hitman, trying to spot SD on the jump, and now SD given time to reposition as well. SWAT, a really hard ask. SD has been playing completely silent. The swing and punish. SWAT has the clutch as well.
Just about.
Just in the next time.
He did not have a kit there, so timing was going to be critical. SWAT keeps Force Crew in this 15-4, and they've done. Oh yeah, no, Mighty does have the money to immediately buy back into this. Like I said, a surprising move that plant did go down towards CT. SWAT, if he gets a lucky bullet through the smoke, there is no plant coming in at all in the first place. So a gamble from Mighty, but it eventually ends up not paying off regardless. 15-4, it's still 11 match points. It's still in a comfortable position.
For now, Mighty, due to the plant, are able to completely reinvest, with them being the higher, with them being the better end when it comes to weaponry. And Volva, he heard that jump and he's trying to punish, but he almost loses all his life in that engagement. Down 12 HP, with there not even being a sniper rifle on the side of Force Crew, he essentially is irrelevant throughout the rest of the round. He's trying to play a little sneaky beaky like on the back of that smoke. The commitment through connector, there is presence through ramp and palace as well. Initial player in the form of Habs discovered through under palace. Now the rotation is all that's remaining, and Volvo was so dead low from the very get-go. They have managed to down SD, who's been an absolute beast for Mighty so far. The stun, easy frag through CT, trades go left, right, center. Force Crew still in position to contest. Beautiful spam through the box. Where was this the entirety of the first half, Shade? We just barely saw any.
And they almost blew that up there. It looked like the two CTs had lined themselves up for a spray, but instead it is another round to the CTs. Bomb plant coming in, which means they've just about enough money if they want to go in for the force. They decide not to. They're gonna put in just enough investment to try and have a crack at this, but not enough that it blows up their economy. 15-5, Force Crew fighting back with a stack of match points against them. And look at this, it's a quick A hit. These are the kind of hits that have actually failed for Force Crew in their half, and they're going to try and attempt them against. This time around, the CTs, however, do lose quite a bit of numbers here. They've set themselves up towards CT. White streak, fast on is pretty low.
What? A triple kill in the round for now. The push through the smoke seems like a failed attempt. The stun getting the frag on Avati as well. Thunder a little too far away from the deny. The flash actually blinds his own teammate in the stun position to his ramp. Knows he's low HP, so isn't trying to give the jig up. The Molotov will push him far behind, where now there might be an individual duel offered against Cracker. The bomb plant all the way through connector, and there is a defuse kit. Are they gonna face the stun? He doesn't need him. Cracker's gonna take this all to his own hand. 16 of 5. Mighty off to a really good start here in their semi-final matchup against Force Crew. Real statement put out on Mirage. Now the ball's on Force Crew's side of the map. What did they decide to do?
Well, that was pretty much a result that none of us saw coming. Mighty, we expected this to be a pretty close match, but it was quite the contrary there. Mighty coming out guns blazing, every single one fragging on the server as well. 22 kills and 19 kills among the 3 remaining players, 14 on the last one. So everyone fragged out. Force Crew, a pretty what would I say, dull T-side from them. They did try to do something that they were very comfortable with, is to catch the CT defense off guard time and again, where they want to try and push the mollies, push through the smoke with the pop flashes, just turn up with the numbers and play contact. But Mighty were looks like they've done their homework. They knew exactly what Force Crew were going to be up to in that T side, and boy oh boy did they hit them with the punch. 14 rounds in the CT side, a few runs coming in at the end for Force Crew. Let's see if that is done enough to bolster their confidence going into map number 2 on Dust 2, which is going to be Mighty's map pick. So Force Crew, regardless, have got their work cut out. Any final thoughts on that match, OG?
Well, we've seen teams trade maps on multiple occasions, so I guess the only thing I had to say is it's not out just yet. Force Crew still have a very viable chance at fighting back considering the map pool we have at hand.
So let's take a very short break. We'll be back shortly with map 2. This is the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. For all the viewers tuning in, if you're looking to convert your passion for gaming into a career, do sign up with us. Dell Futurist is the absolute best platform to do so, whether it is you wanting to pursue a career in gaming, arts, music, or sustainability. We will also be looking out our social pages for announcements regarding a brand new Alienware laptop as well as a brand new Dell Gaming G Series laptop. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back shortly with map 2, so don't go anywhere. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. I'm Shades here. Joining me as always is OG, the low-res chicken. OG, we just watched Mighty just blow Force Crew off the server on their own map pick on Mirage. And with that, we will see them take a 1-0 lead in this best of 3. Dust 2, which is Mighty's map pick, is coming up next. But something that we talked about before the start of the last match, Dust 2, Force Crew, they're not going to be going in blindsided into this. It's a map that they're comfortable in as well. How do you see this map playing out?
I feel like this map is going to be heavily based on early control. Force Crew, for a matter of fact, will like to play these low percentage plays, especially on a map like this, right? Where there's a lot of low percentage plays you can make. Things like an LT push, an A short push, complete commitment towards long, a double mid stack. There's so much stuff that can be done both on the CT and the T side, for the matter of fact. So I'm expecting those kind of plays to come out from Force Crew, but take nothing away from their adversaries. In Mirage especially, every time Force Crew went for that kind of strat, they were completely countered. They try to push smokes, countered. They try to flash themselves through smokes, countered. Use a lot of utility, countered. Play contact, countered. So it's going to come down to how much of a variance they can bring to their approach. Not being predictable and red should be Force Crew's A game. If not, we might just see this as Swift 2-0.
Yeah. The one change, though, is the fact that since this is Mighty's map pick, Force Crew will be starting off on the CT side. So the last time around, they were on the T side. They had to make those moves. And like you mentioned, most of them didn't really pan out at all. But the honest this time around is not going to be on them straight from the get-go. But on a relatively more easier start on the CT side, Dust 2 is very even Stevens, but I think just not really having to worry about Mighty's setup and instead look forward to pretty much just starting with the flow back out again. They did look a much better side on the CT half towards the end of map 1 itself, and hopefully that is something that they can carry forward into Dust 2 Hero G.
Yeah, exactly, Shade. That's something that they really need to carry forward. Their CT side was definitely more impressive. I just hope that they've come into Dust 2 with some kind of prep on their T side. It can't look as dead as it did on Mirage. It's a very even Steven matchup. It's a very even Steven map. It's all going to rely around quick utility usage and quick aggression, perhaps, from the terrorists. We have a lot to expect here, Shade. There's a lot to be said. So a lot of this is going to come down to perhaps if and only if Force Crew can bounce back.
We know for a fact Force Crew have a few oppers in their mix. We know Habs likes to pull out the AWP. We've seen Wati do it time and again as well. Not to mention Involver trying to have a go at it a few times. So AWP on the CT side of Dust 2 does give you an option to run 2 ops. Do you think that is something Force Crew will be looking to bring to the table very early on in this game?
Well, it all depends on how they start off early, right? If things are going to work from the pistol and the get-go, they might just consider the conventional rifle setup with 1 op. But if they get off to a bad start, let's say it goes to an 0-3 with the Mighty winning the pistol, it might just be like, okay, guys, see, we need to try coming out with an ace up our sleeve. We need to try pushing them off a little bit, because at that point they'll still have a couple of SMGs up alongside a rifle. So why not then pull off the double op? It's all going to be based on the start that Force Crew is going to have right now. But then, if I'm not wrong, starting off on the CT side will have a fairly better chance than what they did at Mirage, because their T side was so weak, we simply didn't get to see much of their CT. They didn't have any rounds to work with.
Yep, that was a CT side which came in handicapped as badly as they could have. Just the 1 round on the T side, but they still managed to pick up 2 or 3 rounds. We did see a few retakes coming in to fruition as well. There's SWAT stepping up in a massive clutch in one of those rounds. So they were able to hold their own a lot better on the CT side, and now starting off on the CT side here on Dust 2, I think it's imperative that they don't really fall back on that cocoon that they were in the start of the previous match, give away a lot of rounds. I think that if they do start off slow, it's going to hit their confidence very hard. A lot of these players are pretty momentum based as well. We've seen them play when they're at their A game, when they've got their form on point, they look unstoppable. But they looked quite the contrast in that T side of Mirage. So here's fingers crossed that that indeed is not the case here. It looks like we're going to just wait on player to join back into the server. It's going to take a moment more, so we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly with map number 2. See you folks soon. All right, time to jump into map number 2. Force Crew starting off on the CT side. They've got 5 sets of armor, 5 USPs, while Mighty, they're bringing in a couple of flashes of smoke on the T side and an early pick off from Recting Thunder. Peek through short, gets the job done, gets the man advantage, backs away onto the site. Perfect start for Force Crew OG.
Yep, they get that start they wanted, the man advantage. Mighty, they look to slowly push towards shore, and they're regrouping as well, relinquishing their control towards upper tunnel and coming back all the way through T-base. Now, presence discovered, rotations committed. Mighty, what's their B plan right now? They sure as hell aren't even close to getting into short, but the rotation's already covered through mid, and LT play will more or less be telegraphed. This is quite the spot they put on in the pistol. Their only hope here is the short play actually pans out and Habs ends up whiffing. They might even be able to jump down CT, perhaps taking the fight to SWAT, but they made no man's island after that. The flash across the sky, Habs, beautiful shot with the USP. The smoke does cut him off temporarily. He's re-aggressing though, and the distraction bought by SWAT. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Habs starting the pistol off strong with the quad kill, and Force Crew look to be in life in the map, in the second map.
They're facing elimination OG down a map in this best of 3 semi-final. So close to making it to the grand final of a massive tournament, a massive opportunity in front of them. They better down bring their A game here up against Mighty, who looked anything but ready to go at it from the previous match itself. The push through mid, they're coming in with the numbers. It's just Watt who's here. He's got, in fact, it's Recting Thunder, who does chime in as well from the opposite part of the site. 2-0 for Screw, as flawless as it gets.
And for any new viewers watching, the FAMAS spray is it's one of the worst spray you can even try to learn, just due to the amount it has of horizontal sway. A really good job by Wrecking Thunder there, cleaning up the pistols. Force Crew, in fact, not facing any casualties as of yet. It's only Wrecking Thunder who did go down in the pistol. Really good start here for Force Crew, which was one of their win conditions. So they actually did not look as demoralized as they would after that map 1 loss. Ooh, Hitman. Beautiful shot. Habs just tried to play a little bait there, but his head was on the line, and it seems like the Butcher came for chopping. Man advantage now as Force Crew gonna start this gun round on the back, essentially on the back foot. The smoke from SWAT tries to root out aggression. The jump. Completely silent. Mighty. Not conceded position away just as of yet. They've been very, very stealthy throughout the map. Not showing much presence. A defense, it's centric to his short, and it's very crucial that Involver does hold through side. Wrecking Thunder aggressing through tunnels, able to find another loose end. Mighty giving away frags for free, and now trying to regain control here. Involver missing the spray. Baki all the way down CT elevated, trying to retaliate. He's only going to be good for the first as alongside Involver. The push at least is stopped. Mighty, I'm not really sure what they tried to do in that round. It felt like after that initial pick, after not really being offered any engagements, they looked very lost. They didn't know whether to commit to that short play. They didn't know whether to fall back. Really good job on a Force Crew to not force any unnecessary fights and potentially throw that disadvantage into a downward spiral.
Well, the rush through mid, Involver spotted this out, is gonna send Habs scurrying back in towards short to quickly try and put a stop to this. They push through, the spray from Involver off target, and that leaves Habs looking to go for more, but the T's are just gonna spend a second regrouping. Recting Thunder!
What the hell?
That's a big pick. That's an absolutely massive pick. Does open up a array of opportunities. Now they can look to try and work B, where it's pretty much just SWAT alone. Wathi, I don't believe he's going to try the aggressive play here. Set himself up in a 1-on-3. He's going to get 2.
Ooh. It's looked possible for Dastan clutch this time, but with SWAT already in position, yep, he shuts that story down ASAP. Oh no! Oh, he still has the FAMAS. I think he lagged out while trying to pick out the AK. Unfortunate stuff. Mighty still in with the rifles, and we talked about this double op setup, Shade, and you were right in the assumption that they might pull it out early. It seems like Habs and SWAT feel like they can man the double cannons, but are they gonna sing in synergy is the question, because that's the surprise factor of the double op, right? Where you get that shot towards one side of the map, they try to force themselves on the other, and the secondary op lands that shot as well. It instantly boils it down to a 3 versus 5, where the rifles close it out at the end. Let's see if that's gonna be the case as of yet. With doors, SD tagged with the ops information given away that there's an op position towards mid. The only problem is, if it's positioned in that kind of situation, you tend to smoke out door and window all the way from upper tunnels, and then your commitment towards B will become strong if there's an op against you. Is that going to be the game plan for Mighty though? Because I feel like that's one of the best routes they can take, at least considering that they've spotted out the op. At least one of them, for the matter of fact.
Dastan, patience with 45 seconds remaining on the clock. They've set themselves up with the C4 towards shut. There's no backing away from this right now. Involver and Recting Thunder hold the angle down. Habs with the AWP needs to watch out for the backstab coming in from Hitman. The counter utility is strong here from Force Crew as they hold them in. Hank, however, opens up mid to B. That does leave Wati alone with an all to do. He's found the player. The last absolute bullet off the spray takes it down. And it's all down to ST. C4s, however, dropped out in mid, covered by 3 CDs. This should be the end of the round. Reckoning Thunder through the smoke. Mighty, they see that counter utility come in with less than 25 seconds remaining. They had to turn tail, head towards B instead, but Force Crew shut the door down. And they continue to be in a flawless run here, OG. Are we seeing a Uno reversal of the previous matchup?
Oh no. This is quite the confusing matchup we have on our hands today. The flashes so far doing good. The Molotov not extinguished. The defensive utility used to absolute perfection here, although Involver has suffered a lot of internal bleeding. Down to 16 HP. But even compensated for a long hit by rotating a player from B to its mid, just for that early rotate. Squad footsteps. Heard of plenty. Tried his luck at it. Knows that they could be a man close through the smoke. Hitman with an absolutely stunning opener. Thunder is going to be expected here. Oh no, he's swift. That's the only opportunity he would have gotten. And now Involver split between 2 positions. The wrap's going to come around. The smoke through crossing. Involver. Oh, you don't get much of these. You do not get much of those. Sol on Avati with the Mag 7. We've seen him pull off a little swag play yesterday, but not going to be replicating this today. 5-1, Mighty. They get that first round on the board, but I like the fact that they kept a lot of members alive, right? That just means that the economy is going to get built more, and considering that they are going to be on the verge of at least coming back into the half for now, they need that one huge X factor, which is the economy, playing to their advantage.
Well, no presence towards long this time around. It is Force Crew with the eco towards short instead with the 4-man setup there. They go for the boost. They're in for a quick surprise. Wati with the deagle somehow doesn't find much. It's a team kill coming in from Hank there as well. But that is the only kill Force Crew are going to find there. They had they still have 2 more players here. And Recting Thunder, the 2 pistols have done it. This is a big kill though. Habs going down. It's going to leave Sword alone. He's probably going to get the better of Hitman. Recover the AK. 1v1 C4 with Hank. He's hurt the smoke. He's going to drop down. Hank will be able to get himself into a post plant. He's setting up for a plant towards upper tunnels. Oh, he's not. He's going to play the bait. He's going to hang around on the side. The position of the C4 should be a giveaway, OG.
Squad doesn't have a kit. Time is going to be of the essence. Hank, in fact, has a Molotov as well. If he can deny the engagement or even take it up front, it doesn't matter. Lands the headshot. 5-2. Mighty needed this absolute miracle of a play. It came down in a very sweaty position towards short. Luckily, Mighty at least came packing, right? They didn't give that important round away. At least for now, they are still on the trail. Let's hope that against the pistols, they don't fail. Because it's going to be expensive. They really need that money. Force Crew doing their best to keep it as unstable as they can on the T side for Mighty. Beautiful opener for Involver. In fact, the dualies out on Avati. He likes the moves as much as we do. Hank, beautiful triple spray. Completely cleaning house for his long. It's all on a SWAT. With an almost undoable 1 versus 3. Has armor. If he picks up an AK here, potential highly favoring him. But it's all going to be down to engagement. SD. Tap, tap, tap. Down to 12 HP himself. Will still land that kill. Fight at 3. Mighty. Going to be on the comeback train as Force Crew. The reinvestment upon reinvestment upon reinvestment might just cost them that op setup that they really want to go for. Oh, never mind. Involver. Has Involver... Involver has no armor. He invests in utility and lets go the armor. I'm not sure what role he is in game, but that's what superheroes do. Superheroes throw flashbangs and Involver felicitating for that kill on a Thunder. Now they can potentially fall back and play for each other by setting up their crossfire to its side and card, trying to buy the aggro. Oh, beautiful shot with the AWP. That one flashbang sets themselves up with this early man advantage that they've managed to snowball in effect. Hank coming in with the flank to his short Involver, no armor yet, and not a single bullet touches him. The bomb still on the back of Mighty, on the back of this 2 versus 4. If they get a kill each, they equalize the scenario. But the only problem is, Force Crew haven't been offering themselves up in very easy engagements. Mighty really needs this round. Force Crew. What a play from Involver. A sacrifice of saying that I don't need a hit. You hit, you go, you play. Boy, you don't really see that anymore, right?
And that AWP actually set up 2 kills out towards long for Force Crew to take it. So it's a pretty hit and miss gamble play, but props to Force Crew to still attempt it, knowing that they do have their backs against the wall if they end up failing. 6-3, and the team do have the buy. Habs, 3 players towards long, but Cracker, is he going to try and take a crack at this?
Given the boost, playing very conservatively towards this A side. The deep molly will allow the op towards side to be comfortable for a little longer. In fact, it's what rotating over to try and get this trade, but who needs a trade? Wrecking Thunder just gonna absolutely mow them down. No mercy. SWAT doesn't divide in the dust towards mid, and Thunder should have a good inkling that there should be one more. 3 versus 2. Mighty. They're still in a position where they can contest. If Involver... Oh, he's given away position! But Involver still backs up to the fight. Mighty. How they crumble under the pressure now. Force Crew with an absolutely beautiful start to the CT. Have and Habs. Pots just the pixel. It takes all of his brains out. 7-3. And Force Crew with looking quite the contrary to what they did in map 1.
Yep, they seem like they're far more comfortable on the CT side, OG. They're able to put Habs in a very good position with the AWP, and the rest of the teammates have stepped up significantly as well. Racketing Thunder with that 2-man spray down. An absolute delight to watch towards shot. Has ensured that Mighty haven't really picked up any momentum here on the T side, but it is still 5 rounds in this half, and if Mighty are able to pick up 3 more at least of them, I think they're still in with a good shot moving over to the CT side, because it was the T side of Force Crew that was brought into question in Mirage. Might just be the case here as well in Dust 2 if they don't change things up a bit, OG.
Certainly. Force Crew are the ones surprisingly calling the timeout here. Mighty, considering the start they've had, they've not used a single timeout. Do you see that being a worrying factor, at least in your mind?
I think Mighty for now are not really going to be too concerned of how this match is going. But if they do end up losing a couple more rounds in this half, we might just see them slow things down a little bit more, call the timeout at that point of time. Well, at least for now, they're pretty much going in with the bare minimum investment in this. Few deagles, a P to 50, few smokes, flashes, a quick play towards B is in the cards. It's just Vati here alone as what mans mid with the AWP.
Mighty might just be able to replicate some sort of success on the back of these pistols. Vati, beautiful position, dodges the flash, in fact throws a counter flash. They know where he is, but they can't nail him down. Vati, most do, while SWAT comes in with a rescue. Seems to be slight misplay on their end. 3 versus 2 nonetheless, and it's the B side we're talking about, so it's still possible for Mighty if they do land just a couple of headshots. Beautiful start for Force Crew on the retake. Luckily, they managed to avoid catastrophe here. It could have gone the other way pretty easily. Force Crew comes in with the defuse, saves that AWP. Actually, they do end up surviving with both the ops up. So we're not seeing the double op setup go away anytime soon as well. Mighty, it's going to be their buy round coming in. They really need this round if they need to start getting a good scoreline for the half, or else things are starting to look pretty bleak for them.
AWP towards mid, and I think he spotted out ST there. Just about, is he going to offer him a fight? Tag down, 6 HP. Habs. We've seen him get aggressive with the op towards short. And if ST hangs around for a bit longer, we might just see that AWP move into position for the punish. His elbow spotted there in a pixel. No punish coming through, but look at Recting Thunder. He sneaked up massive here for the backstab OG. Timing is going to be critical. He gets the first, but the trade comes through.
Little done in way of damage. SWAT tagged down desperately low. Habs, the nade. He's going to eat the majority of it. Could get the flick. Does he spot the head of the stun though? I think just barely. Complete silence coming out from Mighty as they try and mount this B setup. They're completely negating mid as they don't want to risk it. SWAT with the op comes up with the opener as he just mows them down on the entry on 5 HP. This is still a very good position for him to get work done. He's going to be buying distraction to allow Vati to strike. Cracker though lands the double spray, and that's ample time bought. That's exactly what SWAT needed to do. That's why that position is so overpowered, right? It's not that there's an op setup there. It's the risk of the op re-peaking. You'll always be waiting for that, and that buys you an extra crucial couple of seconds to allow that secondary op and the third man to rotate over and supplement the defense. Even though both the B members died, Force Crew were in position. 9-3, Mighty. It seems like when they start off in the D half, they do not start well off as well. I just hope that when it comes to map 3, it's not going to be all dependent on the knife round, because that's going to be a silly way to try and go out.
Well, ST does make good on the backstab, but he's still got 4 more CDs who know his position and are going to be pincering him down. He's got the C4 though, and a ton of time with him. 1 minute 20 seconds remaining on the clock. 9-3. I think Mighty called the timeout at the end of this round. Their money is not going to be looking great, but they've let this half slip away pretty quickly.
Oh boy, this is turning out to be quite the semi-finals, Shade. Force Crews definitely putting up a fight. They look more alive than they ever have. And Mighty, they had a really good performance on Mirage, which was in fact Force Crews map pick, if I'm not mistaken. And now here on Mighty's map pick of Dust 2, it's Force Crew who are not just leading by rounds, they're leading massively, 10-3. If Mighty even want to be in a position they can contest from, I feel like they need at least this last 2 rounds, because that is, I feel like, the minimum you can ask for even a decent result on the T set of Dust 2.
It is OG. Towards long, Habs with the AWP. He does have Involver with him as well. The push through the Recting Thunder into upper tunnels. That's a massive pick of aggression from the CT, shown as they feel Mighty might just be a little low on confidence, looking to play slow, and it's the absolute best time. SWAT with the op chiming in as well. When the ops both go online, you start to lose numbers thick and fast. SWAT, however, getting a little too hyper aggressive there. Involver in a good position though. He can straight up push in and put an end to this push through Wati. He's gonna go get him all one by one. He's gonna get a little greedy going for the AK, but Involver was in position. 11-3, last round of the first half. The T's are gonna be able to force buy into this. Actually 4 AKs with no head armor on a couple of players.
This is rough. So rough for Mighty. Heading into this matchup, you'd assume that they have a really good chance, which has been quite the contrary. Vati, as you know about the presence towards upper tunnels, has the smoke, so in a position where he can even disengage. Mighty, after their whereabouts have been discovered, they completely fall back. And this push from Wrecking Thunder! Oh no! He heads into a field of kangaroos and he gets jumped on to death. SWAT, he's did fry the frag on the Dustan. They rotate back over, but SWAT goes above and beyond. Clears everybody towards mid. And they've gambled here. They've gambled back towards the B site. Vati has been waiting the entire round. And is he gonna go in the mowdown is the question. Utility coming raining on in. Vati gonna get the first, and the bomb dropped as well, so information telegraphed. SWAT, beautiful flick, beautiful job. Could be the whole done. As a one-man army as well. SWAT spots the head. Gets his own decapitated in return. Headband in a doable 1 versus 2, but Force Crew are not gonna give him that. In fact, they want to push and spearhead this effort towards both window and doors. Are they going to peek on the same time? The jump, not heard. Habs, watching for the play. Needs to land this no-scope in the nick of time. He's going to come on through. Habs miss. Involver. His backpack spotted. Hitman with the double chance. 11-4. Mighty saving themselves a little bit of skin. As Hitman, it seems like he at least got their back.
It pretty much came down to baiting out that shot from Hab, so allowing him to re-peek, and that was the absolute best time for Involver rather to get the frag in, but he was holding towards door there, OG. They were getting ready to go on the offense themselves as that plant was coming through, and that was the moment, unfortunately, that Mighty decide to go on the offense. Hitman, his timing to perfection, and that at least gives them the last round a bit of hope as they move on to the CT side. Force Crew 5 rounds from forcing a decider map 3 on Inferno, but it is the T side. It is something that they were quite visibly uncomfortable on Mirage. Let's see if Dust is going to be a slightly different case.
Force Crew headed into this round with utility. They have 2 smokes, 4 flashes. A lot of possibilities open from their end. How do you deal with this if you're Mighty after winning on your adversary's map pick in a dominant fashion, not able to perform on your own? Do you think that there's anything mentally taxing that Mighty have to deal with? Because so far, it's been a very rough start for them in their own map pick here on the T side. Now, with them swapping over to the CT, I feel like their win condition here is going to be the pistol round. If they win the pistol round, they're going to be right back in it with a good economy, with a good mindset, and with the right leg-headed face front to the marathon. They'll need a long way back into this game. But for them, there needs to be one thing on their mind. They need to end this 2-0. Because if you allow this to go Inferno, everybody knows Inferno in India. Everybody knows it. You can't afford to risk a finalist spot by pushing this another map. So Mighty, at least if we put themselves in their shoes, they're going to be fighting tooth and nail for this one. They want to end this as soon as they can and potentially pull off a massive comeback in the process of making, I think, with this roster, one of their first berths in a grand final.
Well, looking at the early investment from Force Crew, a couple of smokes, a few flashbangs in, so they've got decent bit of utility invested in what looks like enough to quite possibly go for an A-long hit here, OG, with the early smokes towards short, the smoke towards... you actually probably need the 2 smokes for covering off CT there and transition up through elevator. So Mighty, interesting to see how many players they put towards long here with the pistols.
With the way Mighty have been playing their CT side on Mirage, I feel like this is just going to be a default pistol round. Could expect a 2-1-2 headed into these things. Just if the previous map was a testament to anything, it's a testament to that Mighty are right up there when it comes to firepower and the ability to take 1v1s, right, against Force Crew, where in the pre-game, we stated quite the opposite. Dustduel has been what we've been predicting from the pre-game, not in the fashion that we've expected. Now, Mighty, they need to be the ones who can brush off this short-term stain from their shoulders and try to keep their eyes in the bigger picture, which is having a positive attitude heading into the half. This long timeout would definitely help each and every one of them recompose themselves and ready themselves for the journey they have lying up ahead. Because it's going to be a long one if they need to make their way back in this game. And I hope Mighty have not all lagged out at this, but they're still stuck to its spawn.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening here. We do have a few of the players reconnecting, moving around, so I'm guessing we might just have a restart. Unless, unless we are playing the mannequin challenge here in the pistol round, OG. Never mind. Hitman, this is the best possible time to...
Oh, Habs. Freebies. I sincerely hope that they did call the reset in the nick of time, because if the initial player got damaged before they called the reset, it's gonna be a pass by tournament rules.
Well, we do see the pause come out, but yeah, Not really sure what exactly happened there.
Oh, it's been quite the day, right? It's been quite the day. We've seen a very uncomfortable Force crew. Now we've seen a half alive Mighty. I just can't wait to see what's ahead of us. In case this does go all the way to Inferno, it's gonna come down to a brawl shit, because we know for a fact that both Mighty and Force crew have that ability to play Inferno, right? So it should be quite a really interesting matchup. In fact, for Mighty, their previous game was on Inferno against Sane Clan. They did end up besting them 16-3. So they've been having quite the good spree on the deciding map. Do you feel like, especially in matchups like these, past performances count for anything, considering that it's perhaps the first berth for both of these teams in the semifinal bracket, right? Do you think the pressure is going to outweigh the experience they've had prior, or do you think it has a small aspect to play in the bigger picture of things?
I think at this moment, experience pretty much gonna trump everything, right, OG? This is the position that is pretty tricky because you do have a sizable lead, but there is enough room for Mighty to claw their way back in. They win the pistol and they start going on a streak. That lead could get cut down in a flash to a point where Force Crew will need to start scrapping away at rounds to reach that magical number 16. That being said, we're ready to jump into the action. Pistol round of the second half. Mighty starting off on the CT side. Aggression towards short, and they've spotted out everybody heading in this way. SD, he taps on the way out. He wants to go for the repeat, can't find anything in return. Cracker's back towards long. He gets double peaked as well. And it's Hank all alone up on the A side. He's going to drop all the way back towards CT. Spotted out at least a couple of heads. Smoke down towards short, and Hitman is smoked out of play. The stun coming in as well, and with Hitman going down, Hank goes down as well.
What a disastrous pistol start here for Mighty on that CT side. It's looking go all the way, Shade. Perhaps a map 3 after all. Force Crew, we considered them favorites headed into this matchup. And now Inferno to settle what is, quite frankly, the most confusing semifinals we've seen so far, with the team picking the map which they lose on, and in such dominant fashion as well. Force Crew, an really unsatisfying performance on Mirage, more than made up for in Dust 2, with them looking to be quite the favorites. Mighty, this is a hard call to make. Just the USPs, a couple of utility up. The push towards long. The double nade is headed towards long as well. So, oh no, they waste smoke. Double nade doesn't do damage. Takes Involver down, but it's only him who's sustained anything so far. Could easily be traded out. In fact, Swat forces the issue with the Galil to down Hank through the smoke. There is presence of Vati towards short, and he's just waiting for that counter-aggressive move to come in from Mighty. Just about waits enough to spray with the Mac 10. And he welcomes them with a love and embrace. The 9mm. Pretty synonymous with drive-bys. Vati, a little confused, as he's not going to be in a drive-by. Ends up netting himself 3 kills with the Mac 10, which will mean that he has a lot of money, right? We've seen this from more experienced team in CS, where if they have 2 Mac 10s and 3 Galils for a buy, you're allowed the 2 Mac 10s to be on entry, getting those kills, closing the distance down, while the Galils are played more to at range. They essentially act as a safety net for engagements, alongside giving cover fire and barraging and confusing the CD side even more. So good stuff we're seeing out of out of Force Crew so far. Definitely do look in contention for the spot in the finals. Do you still stick with your prediction though, Shay? Do you feel like Force Crew are gonna win this one out and then win it out on Inferno like you predicted prior, a 2-1 score? Or do you feel like Mighty might have a better chance at it at Inferno? What do you feel like is gonna be the scenario?
I think it's pretty much going to come down to the start, because what we've seen so far is the fact that the team that does pick up that early momentum is just able to ride that through the entire half with a little to no save from their opponent. So I think the knife round is going to be very important up on Inferno to see who starts off on the CT side, because both these teams have met success when that has been the condition, right?
Pretty much feels like the win factor to me right now. So far, even the second half, CD half hasn't been looking that good on a Mighty. 40-4. I didn't expect to see this kind of dominance come in on both maps. SWAT did a really good job denying the gun there, so there's essentially no hope left. Now they have to stick to pistols, they have to concede map point, and potentially risk it all that they've gained in map 1.
14-4. We're seeing a mirror score line of what we did on Mirage OG. Map number 3 is anything but a formality now, as Force Crew early play towards long. They're just going to leave Vati here for the cleanup in case the CTs do come chasing in. Up towards shot, they've spotted out the bodies here. They're going to try and overwhelm Vati here. And he's in fact ready to take the fight. He says, you want the fight? Come on at me. He gives away the rifle. They are thinning the numbers down though. They've got another frag in towards the A side. The C4 goes down.
The plant has one major area of concern because it's not planted towards long. In fact, it's a ninja plant wrecking thunder. Well, I guess he answers all our worries.
Yeah, there's all's good in the kingdom right now. He knows where exactly the last player is as well. 15-4, 11 match points incoming for Force Crew. Well, I can safely say map pick coming in from Mighty, pretty questionable to say the least, because their T side pretty much looked vanilla as well, similar to Game 1 OG. So I'm yet to be a believer. The teams are yet to convince me why they went for the map picks that they did, but I think Inferno is a good place to be, considering it is not going to be a map of uncertainty for either of them. Mid to be hits, they have control of CT here, no one really contesting this, and Dastan is going to be left alone. 1v5, as one of the players is already disconnected from Mighty OG. This is it. The nail atop the coffin. Vati is going to set himself up for the mowdown. No one's going to expect him in this corner. First player actually does spot him out there, and Hank, I think he's got enough time there. 2 kills, 3 kills. There, take them all.
Dirty tap. 16-4, Force Crew. Look to be absolutely flawless on Mighty's map pick, which still baffles me if you can't read by my facial expression. And boy, Shade, this semi-final is gonna be a really heated one. Both the teams have traded out maps like we've been hinting at. Now it's all down to old faithful Inferno. We've seen a lot of Inferno, but I feel like this matchup we're gonna have right now is gonna be the most entertaining so far.
Is this poetic justice that we're going to Inferno to settle this? Both these teams have had huge performances on their opponents' map picks, finishing up with identical score lines. Will map 3 be a landslide, or will we see it go down to the wire? It is Mighty versus Force Crew to decide who will be the first grand finalist of Dell Futurist presents Alienware Level Up Challenge. I'm Shadesir. That is OG, the low res chicken. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly on Inferno. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to map number 3. It's about to get started in just a bit. I'm Shade Slayer. Joining me, as always, is OG, the low-res chicken. OG, we are going to Inferno. It's the decider. 2 maps which pretty much went lopsided in both instances. Surprisingly, not to the picker of the map. That being said, on Inferno, who do you think is taking it?
Force Crew have definitely come revitalized after that Sorrow map 1. I feel like Inferno might be Force Crew's map to go home with. What do you feel, Shay? Do you think that Mighty stand a chance considering they put a beastly performance on Mirage, but slightly floundered on the T side of Dust2?
Yeah, that being said though, the all-important knife round does go the way of Force Crew, and they will be starting on the CT side. So I do believe the balance kind of tips in their favor. But what do you think? What give us a scoreline prediction for this match, OG?
Well, considering what we've seen, it's either going to be I feel like it's going to be a landslide. Let's give it Force Crew in this one. I feel like 16-8 might be a decent scoreline for them to win with. What do you feel?
Yeah, I believe we are not going to get to see a very tight scoreline here, primarily looking at how the last 2 maps have panned out. It is one team that gets the advantage and then is pretty much able to snowball from that point on and shut things down pretty convincingly. Map number 3, without further ado, we're ready to jump straight into the action. It is Force Crew versus Mighty. Force Crew starting off on the CT side. They've got 4 sets of armor, kit and a smoke onto Recting Thunder, while Mighty, they've got a fair bit of utility themselves here. 2 smokes, 2 flashbangs between Cracker and Hitman. Cracker and Hank rather. And look at this passive hold from the CT's OG. They're just sitting up on the site. 3 towards the B side, playing in far and deep.
This push, it might end up punishing Mighty just a teeny bit more than help them. Smoke being lined up through CT. They have a secondary smoke that either could be used to its construction or site entrance. It's going to be contact play that Mighty want to try and pull off on this B-side pistol. Thunder, beautiful headshot, half chiming in, and the 3-man defense towards B stands strong for now. They're out of bullets, almost letting his teammate go down. The HP so low, but it's not going to matter. Force Crew off with a flawless start here on the pistol. What a way to kick things off. Force Crew, they absolutely needed the pistol here. They absolutely needed the good start. And the CD side might just end up being the favorite side. As you've been saying, Shade, that's been a recurring trend. And I guess this game shows us why. In quite the contrast.
Well, Force Crew, what a stellar hold on the B side. They go for the gamble play, put 3 players in, and quite surprisingly not contest Banana like we do see time and again. But a strong crossfire setup on the site in Mighty pretty much walked into the trap there with open arms. Seems like they are gonna go for a train here, push towards the B side. It seems like they're gonna be ready yet again, OG. Involver chiming in with 2. SWAT should be able to clean things up here. We already have a push through mid as well. C4 is in control of the CTs.
Ooh. Decent round coming in from Mighty, at least doing something in the way of damage. So they should be coming into this with a good buy in the next, but something I'm not expecting, Shade. Force buy. Utility is definitely going to be a huge problem here for Mighty. that might be a different story if and only if they end up getting that initial man advantage. This is a little worrisome for the T side. At least for now, they're not off to a fly start. They certainly can turn the ship around. They certainly can bring this one back. It's all going to be on a Force crew, though. They had a beautiful CT side in the last map of Dust 2. In fact, they had a lot of individual men stepping up to the fray as well. It's been Mighty who have been absent for the majority of the game at this point. Force crew, this good start might just give them that good lead they'll need to make it to the finals. Mighty still trying to fight back. Due to them being low in utility, they've been pretty conservative on their usage of it as well. Not using ample utility will mean that Force crew have a more relaxed defense. Force crew have only 2 smokes. One of it has just been disposed of towards B side. And Mighty do not see that need and urge to contest that heavily. 35 seconds left. This is where things start to boil down a bit. The rotations from SWAT's going to be delayed just a tad bit. And Habs buying that little extra time to flash. Oh, he thought he was hidden away. Thunder, he needs to come up absolutely massive. The flash, and now the peek. Could he hold an eco angle? He's good for Hank, but Hitman immediate on the trade. They go man for a man towards the B side, which will net them a favorable afterplant. SWAT really close to the reply, so there's essentially no room for Mighty to reposition. The flash is perfect. The crossfire through Banana yields kill, but that's very late. Hitman now in a 1 versus 1. Gets the headshot in the nick of time. The triple to save his team. This absolutely crucial round, the first buy round, and it goes the way of Mighty. 2-1. Force crew might just fancy a force up here.
2-1, Force crew. I don't believe they're gonna invest into this though. Gee, they've got armor behind the P250s. 3 players again towards the B side. They're trying and bait with the player up and ay. The one thing you don't want to do up against the pistols is to offer up kills without any possible chance of a trade. An early kill, the Mac 10 recovered. And you see what he does, right? SWAT immediately rotates back towards the A site and Mighty is heading in this direction. The defenses are shored up from Force crew. These pistols begin to go to work. Things could get pretty tricky here. Involver trying to push the smoke, and Cracker is ready for the challenge. The player in the corner SWAT goes down as well. That should pretty much be the end of the round. Despite losing ST early, Mighty able to recuperate back and restore normalcy. Should be the T's leveling things up 2-2, wrecking Thunder and Habs. Unfortunately, don't think they'll be able to recover a single rifle at this point. Mighty looking promising on the T side here, OG.
They certainly have come with the resurgence, but we're yet to see what Force crew can reply with when the big guns are on their hands. The ops, like I said, the double op setup was really good on the CT side of Dust 2, and that seems like what they were headed for. Every single member from Force crew essentially can op. We've seen SWAT do it a couple of occasions. Habs and Wrecking Thunder have been doing it on multiple occasions in this matchup. And Bull and Vati aren't strangers to that weapon as well, but with the pistols, they might be able to at least strike a blow. Can they make it a lethal one is the question. They've gotten that man advantage. Vati has the Mag 7 and he's set up towards apartments. In fact, in his previous game, we saw him pull off quite the show with this gun in this exact position. Can he replicate success? He's good on the first. The stun does drop beneath him and get the refrag. A 2 versus 2, keeping Mighty in this round for now. It's only Mac 10s on the board for Force Crew. Swat fancies his chance with the Deagle. Habs might swing close towards the side and avoid, at least hope that he avoids engaging Dastan, which he's almost pulled off, and he's done it! Now 1 versus 1, but the stun! Immediate to the headshot, 3-2. You've got to keep one thing in mind though, is that Force Crew did so much damage on just the back of pistols. Now comes their chance with the big gun. Swats pulled out the AWP. In fact, as the double up setup, Habs has opted to go glass cannon as well. A lot of utility on the T side, but you better hope that they use it to shut down this double up setup before even they get wind of it.
Double op setup, no ops on the T's to contest this, and SWAT gets a freebie. He gets out of there, dances his way out, and unfortunate there for Mighty. It's going to be a pretty hard down blow. 2 HP though onto SWAT, but he's still going to be able to have quite an impact considering he's on the big green and not a rifle. 3-2. A minute 20 seconds remaining on the clock. The man advantage for the CTs. They've spread their forces thin, 2-2 on both sides as Habs get spotted out, directing Thunder towards CT. It's going to be forced to use that smoke early on. A little bit of utility forced out as the attack is getting primed on the other side with the C4.
And mind you, that's essentially all of the defensive utility Force Crew have left in the bag down the drain. They only have 2 flashes, and it's on Vati, who's playing all the way at Arches. The fake being sold with the side Hank cannot land the kill, but he's bought in crucial seconds for Mighty to play aggressive. Vati, he spots it, but he's not going to take the first phase. This is smart stuff coming out from him, but is his smartness going to cost him? The nade, the tag, oh no, the flash door, it's what missing a crucial shot. They've given the jig away. The man advantage is nullified. A 3v3 post plan with Involver being dead low. Habs, he doesn't even have armor. The close setup towards pit. The crossfire will and might take down Force Crew even before this retake goes down. Dastan, merciless on his prey from pit. And this is done. It's dusted. Mighty are going to be on the save. It's actually Force Crew going to be on the save. Mighty, how they've saved their necks from breaking the trend. This time they might start off on the T side, but they are the ones who are in the driver's seat.
Well, the retake there with the AWP, it's always tricky retaking with the big green while the T's have massive amounts of utility for the post-plant play. Force Crew get completely shut down, and as soon as they lose the first CT on the retake, the call comes in nice and early. They have nothing invested into this round, just the 2 saved rifles. AWP onto Habs. We've seen him make this work the last time around, but the push through apartments straight into the waiting arms. The CTs were not ready for that early peek through.
Yeah, Rakuten looking to replicate what Vati did. The stance past the shoulder. They're just feeding kill space right now, where they should be trying to play passive and hoping that the crossfire works. They want to take the initiative of giving that engagement. The only problem is Mighty are more than happy to hand out that responsibility. That puts them on the advantage state. The Molotov, please, what they've heard him burn. They know the ticks sound. Have a crucial shot. SWAT trying to make up for it. Does do decent amount of damage on a Hank, but not going to deliver that lethal blow. Habs investing in the armor only due to the fact that he has that AWP Involver. He's going to try and double down on his luck, hoping that if it's the A side, they can defend it to their last breath. If it's the B side, they can just relinquish the side and go in the save, which would be a very nice call to make, considering that they do hang on to both rifles. They could hope to get the opening pick and potentially more damage done in the rounds coming up.
2-4, soon to be 2-5, as Dastan can't really take the M4 away from Involver. Hank will come in with the chase towards Pit. He's been spotted out. The timing on the jump there, unfortunate. Nothing saved whatsoever. Force Crew, after the initial pistol and the anti-eco, it's been pretty much Mighty all the way here on the T side. A contrast to what we've seen in the first two maps, OG. AWP out, but this time it is in the hands of SWAT. He is one of the players who does wield the op in a double op setup we've seen previously, but we've never really seen it taken off the hands of Habs.
They've been setting up for this A hit for quite a while here, and Force Crew have finally gotten depleted of their utility. Now it's gonna come down to raw aim. SWAT misses his mark. The aggression heard out by Had. Oh, that hurt. That hurt big time. Habs slowly feeling a little gutted, and Vati did his absolute best. Had to push that smoke there. Desperate times called for desperate maneuvers. And Mighty more than expect desperation here. 6 rounds to be on the side of Mighty. Is this the start that you'd expect, Shade, coming into this matchup? Did you feel like Force Crew were the ones who were more favored? At least in my eyes, considering what resurgence we saw in the last game, I felt like Force Crew had this one right in the bag. They still might. I'm not sure if this defused it. Hacked towards Pit. Oh, luckily ends up saving them. That got very iffy there, Shade. That got very iffy. Luckily, Mighty do gain control. Force Crew, it's good. They call the timeout here. A very needed timeout, considering that this is the last map that's going to decide that tournament fate. But so far, it's been Mighty who have been in the driver's seat, and they want to keep their hands at the controls.
Except for calling that B hit in the first round, nothing really has gone right for Force Crew. A couple of these situations where they've had the pistols, they were up against the guns, they've been able to make things interesting till the very end, but it's been a pretty ordinary CT side so far, OG. The crossfires haven't really been strong as Force Crew would have liked them to be, with the defense being a lot more airtight, but at the end of the day, that is the playstyle that got Force Crew here in the first place. It is not disciplined play, but being able to just drag out round after round.
Oh. And it's gone down the drain yet again. This is going quite bad for Force Crew. Of course, it's only pistols invested so far. Force Crew not having the best in terms of information, right? Even in these buy rounds, you see them relinquish a lot of control later on. The rotation never really pans out in their favor. For now, I guess Mighty, the one thing that they're doing really, really well is keeping the pressure on Force Crew. The fact that it's more about these 1v1s being won out, these engagements being completely shut down, It's got to be feeling a little mentally taxing, right? If you're on the side of Force Crew, where you start to lose that confidence, and the call is given as well. The fake towards B, it's going to be completely bought in by Force Crew. They do have armor, so a save would be warranted here, allowing them to get a little more utility in the round coming next. Do you feel like that double op setup is worth falling back towards though? Because the double op setup hasn't really given them anything to work with in terms of the retake effort, in terms of the late round scenario, where they've been losing on most of the engagements. Do you think it's that's causing the problem, or what else needs to change here for Force Crew to even look remotely alive in this last map for our semifinals?
I think it's pretty much come down to the crossfire setup as the hit comes in from Mighty. There's been a couple of occasions where we see isolated fights being taken and Mighty have been able to win them out by and large. It's pretty much a toss of the coin at that instance, especially on the CT side. You don't really want to let it come down to that. So Force Crew, at least early round, we've seen a few picks go their way very early on, but as the push comes to shove, the man advantage hasn't really mattered in most of these occasions. So I think that is something that they will try and look to do better, is not only get the opener, but to ensure that they're always able to keep that for the remainder of the round and not really give away frags for the tees without a trade potential. And again, a pretty low percentage player there to try and swing wide without a flash setup. There's no aggressive smoke either. The defensive smoke does go out, but is it a little too late? We have Habs alone with the up. He spotted out, but the shot gave away the flash setup from Mighty. That is on point. That is exactly what they wanted, and Wati almost gets caught trying to hop his way in.
This is just... I'm not even sure if you can attribute this to bad omen. Perhaps it's just not the day for Force Crew. It looked quite the day on Mirage. Quite the sad day, that is. And it's been a back and forth affair. We did mention that scoreline is going to be something that you really can't pay as much attention to. Whoever's going to get that initial momentum is going to just drive away with this game. And that seems to be quite the case for Mighty as of yet. Force Crew yet again call that timeout. They have enough money to potentially force up in the next round with a lot of utility. Maybe ditch that double op. Maybe that double op setup is the reason you're not able to play that aggressive stance and you're not able to get those decisive calls in. There's no information relayed. Force Crew being this passive definitely does have its downside. And the downside is when you're in the passive stance and the engagements come to you, you'll need to be more than ready to deliver a lot of fatal blows. You'll have barely any room for error because you're given a good bit of map control if you're going to play this kind of passive style. SWAT and Involver, they do good to get a kill each, but it's going to be an upward battle from here on out. Going to be holding down the push from Banana. Involver, not much success found. Wrecking Thunder almost gets a drop on the stun. Luckily, Mighty win that round out. Not in the most clinical of fashions though, but they're again 1 round away from hitting double digits. They've done a really good job here on the T side of Inferno.
And if they continue to stay at this, they're gonna have a blinder of a half. And Force Crew, it's time to step up here if you're looking to continue your journey in the Alienware LevelUp challenge, because their back's against the wall here. They're down 7 rounds at the start, and it's only gonna get worse from here on out.
Oh, that smoke. Alongside nobody contesting to its Banana should be a dead giveaway that it's sort of a fake. It's still gonna be a really good round for Mighty to net though, because if they're going to be coming up against these monsters in the grand finals, you need to put quite a good testament to it. Mighty so far are putting a really good show. Thunder pushing the smoke, Hitman there on the cover duty to get the first. What? Trying to make the trade game work, which he does, but just momentarily. He leaves Involver all alone towards the side. Mighty have a lot of utility. 2 smokes, a single flashbang, but that could be used towards the side clear. Force Crew, they have taken the gamble here to stack 2 men towards B. Vathi, he's gonna second out though. On the rotation from Speedway, 30 seconds left over. This is all gonna be on an Involver. Vathi, he's well removed from this position. I don't feel like Mighty even would like to contest Archers with there being 50 seconds left on the clock.
10 seconds remaining. They let it boil down so long. Why would you do that, OG? And Involver just cleans things up. 11 seconds remaining. That is how tight they leave it there at the end. And Force Crew, yeah, pretty much gifted that round there, OG.
Mighty still have a really good control of this game though. Their economy is looking really strong. They don't even need to worry until the half ends. It's on Force Crew to try and do as much damage as they can and almost win the rest of the half completely clean. Force Crew, they've been given a chance here. They've been given a chance to come back into this one and come back strong. It has to be on the start of this though. Beautiful shot from Habs. Gets that initial kill. Hitman a teeny bit too late for that refrag. The man disadvantage. Mighty. They've gotten a real good grasp of the map so far, having both Banana and Abs in contention. They're being really disciplined about this though, not giving away any sound towards B. Defensive smoke towards A extinguished. 45 seconds left on the clock. It's gonna be really hard for Mighty. They need to get this frag. That's essentially their win condition. The Molotov, it does block off any support that Hitman was trying to come in with. What in God's name just happened? The A defense gets obliterated. And the rotation's coming in as well. Habs gets caught off guard. Hitman in a position to deliver the crippling blow. How have Mighty toppled Force Crew in this round? The positioning so dicey, but it pays off massive. What a play. What a round.
10-3 OG, double digits for Mighty. 2 rounds coming up to close out this half. A force buy from Force Crew. Double Mag 7s. 2 M4s, the FAMAS, barely any utility. Have they thrown in the white flag, OG?
I'm not really sure, bro. I have no clue how Force Crew even would try and redeem their way back in this game when they weren't able to do it with a lot of utility, a lot of guns. Now, everything is against the wall. 2 Mag 7s, in fact. 1 defuse kit on Avathi. This is going to be quite the uphill battle. For now, Mighty in a commanding control of this map would like to close up the semifinals as soon as possible. They don't want to give any room for Force Crew to try and think of a comeback. Beautiful setup towards mid. Obliterates the defense. Involver trying to get involved. Trying his very best to keep his team in it, to win it. Swaps out weaponry. Does a significant amount of damage on it this time. Wrecking Thunder. He rolls in with a Mag 7. Vati there chiming in on the distraction. It's all on a hang, but he clutches it out. Vati trying his very best. 11-3, Mighty. Still gonna be the ones who come out with the final laugh. And boy, must they be having a big one. The last round of the first half upon us. The investment from Force Crew. This is gonna be the disaster that Force Crew try to avoid. Almost mirroring the performance on Mirage here on Inferno. They did look good briefly in Dust 2, claiming that map over Mighty. Inferno hasn't been any kind to them whatsoever though. The one part here is they did start off on the CD half, which you've been attributing to be the more successful half out of the two. They've not found any success here. In fact, it's Mighty who have been playing around with the minds of Force Crew. Do you think that this might be it? This is gonna be the end of Force Crew? Semi-finals? Best of 3, where we assume they don't have the advantage walking in. Sadly, it's not been that case whatsoever. Involver lucky to stay alive, as if it have gone down, it essentially would have been SWAT against the world. The Molotov, the flash atop the sky, and the rotations being bought. Mighty completely outread the entirety of Force Crew. The rotations being toyed with Wrecking Thunder. Not gonna make it time to deny the cross. The messy fight taken though. Mighty did not have to commit to that. Oh no! Wrecking Thunder through the smoke ends up going down. A 3v3 post plant. One of the more difficult sites to retake, even with the man neutralizer. Hitman beautifully recomposes himself for that engagement. That's all left on a half to try and retrieve some kind of good luck, perhaps, at the end of the half. He's gonna be denied. Hang. Takes his head right off his body. 12-3. An absolute masterclass performance here on Inferno from Mighty. That his side, at least in one map throughout the best of 3, has looked really good.
Well, it's been Mighty all the way there on the T side. The first 2 rounds going to Force Crew, and ever since then, it's been a one-way freight train. And let's just say it hasn't been Force Crew manning it. 12-3, start of the second half, and they do get a kill towards mid here. Does open up an avenue to rotate back in towards the B side, A side from Arches. Dastan, 2 quick taps.
Ooh, I almost sensed the highlight reel playing there. 4-12 nonetheless. Force Crew win out the pistol. A very crucial one in that as well. If they want to make their way back in the semifinals, if they want to pull off the comeback of their lifetimes, they needed that round. They absolutely did. And Mighty, they have more than enough rounds on their bag. So they don't even have to worry, for that matter of fact. They have, I mean, they will if they do eco this. The rounds are plenty. But we have seen this in the past, right? Where teams get a little too comfortable with their scoreline. And before you know it, the comeback is almost a reality. Something that Mighty certainly would want to avoid. The back 10s should make sure that the B side's gonna be clean. The flash. Ooh, no. They fail both the kills. Secondary flash comes over. Blind as a bat. Just return back to cover. Cracker. Land a shot, my man. Your entire team went down due to it. No. They don't get a single kill. Sword survives on 1 HP. 12-5. Mighty. Not looking that great for them in terms of their investment. I feel like this is one of the rounds where I would question Mighty's decision, Shade. Their investment right now is not really warranted considering the fact that they have lots of rounds. Why not just eco another, try doing a little more damage, and completely buy in when you have everything you need in terms of weaponry, utility, perhaps even that AWP to set you up for that first kill.
The first gun round coming in for Mighty here. They have the SMG from Mars. A few smokes, not the full kit available. 2 defuse kits onto Cracker and ST. And an early pickoff towards A as Involver gets a little too trigger happy there, goes for the peek towards Pit and ends up giving away his life for free. Hitman's going to continue to hang here around the site. Asti with just the MP9. He's got no counter utility if the smoke does come in towards CT. He's probably just going to try and look to push through it and take the fight regardless. He's going to skirt around. He's got the first frag in, but Hitman is the drive-by. He's going to repeat back up. Asti still is good with 2 kills there. It's a 2v3, a man advantage for the CTs on the retake. Swartz down to 25 HP. The onus is going to be on Habs to try and make this happen.
The utility is there on Mighty as well. They have a nade, they have a smoke, a couple of flashes. A lot they can do with this. Habs needs to come alive here in the 2 versus 3. The nade, in fact, it's a touchdown from Dastan. Swat. Oh, has lined up but cannot get the spray down. Hank more than ready to get that final kill. And Mighty might have just closed out the hopes and dreams of Force Crew here on Inferno. It's been quite the battle here, but it feels like Mighty have just about done enough. Do you think that with the performance that Mighty have come in with today, stand a really good chance in the finals? Do you feel like this landslide victory might put a slight doubt on the minds of whoever wins this, just due to the fact that we can attribute this more towards Force Crew and them not having the best of game, right? We've seen them lose engagements which we normally feel like they would win out on the other days. It's simply just not been that day. And hey, Force Crew are centered around their firepower. That's their A game. This time, he's given away a lot of information. That failed jump has costed both his safety and the safety of his comrades. It's a very up close and personal defense, which might just change as the pendulum swings. Involver gonna take that initial fight. Hank does win it out though, and that is the X factor. That is what Mighty needed to do to push the entirety of Force Crew to run to the hills, run for their lives, and run for the B side. The smoke deployed through CT. This is Force Crew on potentially the final commitment here in the semi-finals. Is this gonna be all for nothing is the question. Hitman, curious about the smoke, gets that man advantage. ST gonna be holding the Nico angle. He's gonna be really good alongside the Molotov that buys him so much room to work with. Habs left all to himself as a drive-by triple P. Hitman steps up 4-5. Mighty, they look stellar here on Inferno.
$14-5. The money's in the dumpsters here for Force Crew. They're gonna force buy into this one P94 pistols. SWAT will have to make do with just the Glock. They've been pushed to the brink of elimination here. What's their response? They're gonna go charging through. Test Crackers. AWP, the flashbang is awesome as well. He goes down. They have control of arches. They're going to go charging through. Hitman goes down as well.
To be honest, he can provide for his team, but he's only good for the first. The numbers strongly favoring Force Crew as they finally make a strategy work. The stun. He's gonna hear the retreat. Bati is right around the corner. Heads up getting that frag. He's at a 56 and he's called quits already. There's no reason for him to even attempt this. The AK saved will mean a lot in terms of value, considering that he's the one who comes the shortest when it comes to the Doan bank. And 14-6, all of a sudden, Mighty might be in their best position to close this one out. If the op wasn't handed over, it would have been a far easier task, considering that Mighty are going to be on the reinvestment. But with 3 men up, it's not really done loads for Force Crew to be ready to reinvest if they do suffer a loss, which will cost them to be up against map, match, and finalist point. They make it work with the pistol once, Shade, but Mighty have been having a lot of consistent rounds on portfolio. They definitely have to give it to them.
AWP. Early control of top banana here. No contest. They've gone for a massive passive hold here towards the B side. Looking to poke is Wati and Swat. The boost setup. It's gonna fall back a wee bit here. The flashbang comes in and the opener. Dastan ends up going down. That's the A defense now significantly weaker with the smoke down towards balcony. They're going to try and force this.
Vati, an absolute crucial play needed towards apartments to pressure the pit defense. Now that's not going to be the case. It's going to be a collapse through lane with the crossfire is already set in stone. 4 Hack chimes in. This is the pit switch play. Sadly, it hasn't transitioned all that well. They missed their cue. There should have been a swing from pit as soon as the first man goes down towards site. SD, long range headshot on a SWAT who tried to man the AWP. Involver holding off towards short pit. Time being bought for Hitman to work the back lines, but he needs to be quick about his approach. SD has narrowed down the position. The pit peek comes through. Hitman gambling that the side peek comes first in succession, which is not gonna be what takes them towards map and match point. Rather, it's gonna be Force Crew who try and stay alive in the semifinals here. It's gonna be quite the hassle and ask for them to come back into this game. It's still though in the realms of possibility.
It still is, OG. It still is. 14-7. The money is done for the CTs. Force Crew will be able to pull out at least one more round with relative ease. At least if it does go by the books. Hank. Erecting Thunder readjusts back. Perfect timing. Prevents a disaster there. Dastan able to pull one back in Cracker. Peeking into a world of tease there, but Wati's already on the chase. It's a quick cleanup. Just losing the one player there. 8-14. Money enough for another buy for Mighty. Is this the round where they get themselves closer to the finish line?
They've been waiting for this opportunity. ST sadly not having as much money to invest. Cracker, he goes in for the Molotov investment when he had 700 in the bank. Could have gone for a smoke into flashes. He needs to be... Here's the thing, right? Mighty, they've been put in that position where their economy hasn't been allowed to grow one bit. Hence, they have to be really conservative with their utility approach to this game. The Molotov does push Wrecking Thunder off a little bit, but he's in a really good position to try and deny this aggression coming in from Cracker. Oh no, utility out at the wrong time, Cracker! Contested the best he could. Thunder does end up besting him though. Hank, he's gonna spot Wrecking Thunder's back through that smoke. Downs it in the nick of time. Vati hoping that on the retreat, Hank would have crossed this line, which is not going to be the case. The refrag's not in. A 4 versus 4, which does favor Force Crew temporarily. Habs testing the waters towards Banana. That's where it feels like Force Crew are rotating over as well. They're leaving Vati essentially to lurk, which does make sense. Vati, one of the more experienced players on the side of Force Crew, might be the man in charge to pull this back in their favor. Oh, this is their experience chiming in. Waits, and gets that kill. Hank, he's going to be calling for the rotation as well. Dustan getting this kill might confirm things, but Hitman playing an absolute pivotal role, gets the opener, gets Habs, and does not allow the B side to go down on siege. Dustan, does he hear the wraparound through arches is the question. Because the rotation is in. ST just hold the angle, but he gives up the frag. Involver. Oh, they split the attention. Dustan. There were 10 seconds left when he made that decision. It all came down to the wire. Hitman in a possible 1 versus 2 given SWAT's HP. They're gonna be playing off each other though. The crossfire set. It's gonna be Involver peeking. No, who needs to bait their teammate? SWAT. 4 HP, but still alive and kicking. 9-14. Are we in the precipice of potentially a massive comeback in one of the most crucial stages of the semifinals? Have Mighty let go of this shade. It's gonna be really mind-breaking for them now.
What a massive choke there. They had that round. They played it perfectly. The push coming in towards B stopped. And they also managed to get the one lurk towards A pretty easily. And the two-man defense at the A site offers absolutely nothing. They get toyed with. Double digits coming in for Force Crew. And Mighty. Fifth consecutive round loss as Force Crew backs against the wall are turning up to play big time. Mighty needs to step up to the challenge, else
oh no,
they might just be able to not only catch up but make the turn as well. SWAT cleaning house. 14-10. It's just 10 rounds now between the two teams.
4 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 4 rounds. They do, however, in fact, it's Mighty who needs 2 more to close things out. So they pretty much have the finish line in sight, but they've looked far from confident of making it there, OG, especially if the last 5 rounds are anything to go by.
It's been a real hard ask for Mighty to close this game out. We've seen teams where this is the primary reason to lose, right? You might be in a dominant position and in a commanding position. If you don't close out the game, then whatever you've worked for throughout the game is going to be null in terms of value. Mighty, I hope that it's not the choke that's causing all this. Sometimes, even when you're in a good position, it's possible for you to be mentally thrown off, right? Is that the case with Mighty right now? But the way things have been going, it feels like that coordination that they had headed into the first half has disappeared to some extent. But of course, you've got to give it to Force Crew. They've looked rejuvenated both in their aim and their game. It's finally panning out. Thunder finds the opener and the leak through Archer. Thunder strikes twice. SWAT, he's gonna commit to the B side, knowing that the resistance is futile. The wraparound through CT, is it a tad bit too late? Hitman, he's done good to find 2. But is that gonna be enough? The stun. Contemplating whether the clutch is worth it. Flash and the peek. It's actually the smoke. Thunder. He's given away the jig. Molotov. Cancelled out by the smoke. Oh no! Involver whiffs! Involver whiffs! It's the op on Habs. Who needs to land the shot, nail him. It's all been for this round. The Molotov towards that. Oh, Habs whiffs! The stun pulls off the 1 versus 3. Mighty. Hit, map, match, and finalist point. Force crew.
Well, a massive throw if I've ever seen one. OG 1v3. Wrecking Thunder had no business, no need to go for that aggressive play. He does, and Involver with the backstab. How on earth doesn't he convert that? Leaving Habs in that 1v1 with the AWP. You only get the one shot, OG. You miss, you're out. Mighty called the timeout, but it is Force crew who've got to mentally reset and reset fast. It was all them. This should have been 11-14 and Mighty out of money thinking, how on earth are we going to come back in this match? But instead, they find themselves 5 match points. Dastan with a huge 1v3 clutch. What a time to step up for his team. And Forest Crew. This is it. The test of their mental fortitude. A test to the fullest. The flash setup is good. The molly, he's gonna have to take some damage. Will end up going down. He's blinded by the flashbang there as well. The counter Molotov from ST. Pushing the T's back as they do start to take control of mid as well with the one player. The push comes through. They're going for a gamble here. ST's alone. The flash blinds him up. He has no idea. He goes down. Cracker is smoked out as well.
This push from the stun though, barely doing something in the way of results. Habs watching for the exact play. The bomb on the rotate back towards A. They want to play this one as safe as they can. Only if they did that in the previous round, they wouldn't be playing up against map and match point. But sadly, Force Crew now have to play for overtime. Mighty, all they need is that one round, and they have 4 map and match points, Shade. We've in fact been blessed with a couple of games prior where we've seen comebacks of massive caliber. Do you sense this map coming in with similar, or do you think Mighty have done just about enough to hit the final nail in a couple of rounds?
I think it's gonna come down to if Force Crew can play disciplined at this point of time. We gave away an opportunity for nothing. But I still do feel they have the momentum here to close things out. But you don't want to give away rifles like that. SWAT gets pushed and Habs with the off. He's going down as well. Wati luckily is able to come in with the punish. It's still a 1v2. Rifle recovered. No armor though on Cracker. What's the play here? The gamble towards the B side. That's exactly where they're heading. They have a smoke though, and they're most certainly going to smoke out CT and not really let Cracker get a look at this, but he's going to try and spray through the smoke, and that is going to be make or break. He spots the player on transition. The nade should land in as well. The counter Molotov pushing him all the way back here. 1v2, C4 goes down. He doesn't have a kit, but he still has one molly and a flashbang.
Yeah. Doesn't have armor, so the thought of a prolonged engagement really is not going to be on his hand. Really good call. Save, why not? Anyway, it's going to be Mighty on the investment coming up. If I'm not wrong, Hank even might fancy an op setup. No, the op on a Mighty's hands hasn't been doing all that much impact. Do you feel like Mighty get back on their op, or would you convince, or are you convinced that their rifle setup is going to be more than enough? Do you think that that's a small change that might throw Force Crew off guard?
I think an AWP is something that they can look at to tip the scales in their favor. The problem is they've been peaking towards banana early. They're getting the picks, but they're not able to fall back. And just having that op rifle set up there for that quick bait and switch to ensure that the op is able to fall back in the nick of time might just yield them a little bit more success. But right now, they're going to settle for the M4s and in turn pick up 4 kits of Wealth of Utility. I don't fault them for doing this. (15-12), still 3 match points. Oh, Recting again goes down, but the difference being, where's the trade? No one's really in position here for the punish, and that means it's a frag given away for free here. Split 2 and 2 as Involver tries to work the balcony. Hank just about on the other side. C4 gets picked up and it's making its way back towards the A side. 3 CTs hold the fort down. It's going to be a hard one to crack here for Force Crew. Habs just ensuring there is no backstab coming in. The aggressive peek back out. Cracker able to get the trade in return. 1 for 1. Archer's control surrendered out.
30 seconds. Now Force Crew need to start converting upon a side. Mighty, a mighty good old, to say the least. The Molotov they need to force the issue here. SWAT can't land the fatal shot. Habs in a 1 versus 4 AWP. Dustan sends him packing out the door, and it's Mighty off to the grand finals. 16-12. How they've bested Force Crew here in Inferno. The game started off really interesting with both the teams trading off each other's map picks, and Inferno, you said it right there, Shade. It made for the perfect decider.
Well, that was a 12-3 first half in favor of Mighty, and Force Crew almost able to turn things around with a stellar T-side themselves. But I think it pretty much comes down to that one round OG. Dastan, C4 planted, 1v3 clutch defuse coming through. It was such a heartbreak for Force Crew, but regardless, congratulations on an amazing run all the way down to the semifinals. But this is where their road ends. Congratulations to Mighty. They are your first grand finalist for the Dell Futurist Presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. For all the gamers who are tuning in, who want to pursue a career in whether it is gaming, arts, music, or sustainability, Dell Futurist is the absolute best platform. Do sign up with us. Do check out the mentor sessions that are available online as well, all the Dell India and Alienware socials, to stay up to date on all the opportunities in the world of gaming and esports. We will be, in fact, playing this for you immediately after this match, so do stick around and check them out as well. But for now, this is Shadeslayer as well as OG signing off. We will be back tomorrow, same time, with semi-final number 2. Until then, enjoy the rest of the Friday, folks, and keep gaming.
Ago, someone came up and told you that you could be a professional gamer. Those two words were never put together till very recently. My name is Abish Matthew. I'm a gaming enthusiast. I've seen the gaming industry grow, and as a fan of gaming, I am so excited to meet one of the OGs on today's Dell Futurist Level Up Mentor Sessions. I'm talking about none other than the incredible Ankit Pant, who you might know as Venom. What's happening, Ankit? It's so nice to see you. How are you doing?
Hey Avish, thank you so much for that introduction. It's good.
I really want to know your journey of how you became a pro gamer. You've gone from being defeated in an internet cafe to representing the country. That's like a full character arc in like a fiction story that you might have. How much of this is like a birth instinct and how much of it is literally you worked on it?
I would say there's hardly any instinct, to be honest. Yeah, I'm still working. I had to work a lot, and it is not that easy how people think you can become a pro gamer just by playing games. I also thought the same when I started playing in that cafe, and every guy who used to come there started defeating me, and then I was like, I'm not good. Then slowly, I became the best player in that cafe. People started noticing me, and I was like, okay, I have arrived. But as soon as I started playing national level tournaments, semi-professional level tournaments, again I was thrashed. My team was thrashed. We used to lose very badly, and then again it made me think, I think there's still a long way to go.
Ankit, as a professional gamer, how important is it to be professional at only one game? Can you say about be a professional gamer at CSGO, but also maybe Dota?
It is very, very, very difficult. You can imagine me playing 10 to 12 hours and then expecting to, give that much time to a game, because it's not like you are connecting a mouse, keyboard and just going there guns blazing. All these strategies, all these timings, all these things that have, taken a lot of my years to understand. If you talk about CSGO and Dota 2, completely a big no. And but if you talk about FPS with FPS, I am trying that actually. I have started playing another FPS game, which is Valorant. The shooting seems to be a little easier, but again the utilities, the map timings are going to take a lot of time for me to understand these things. So the answer to these questions you will get after maybe few more years. But right now all I can say is it's difficult, and I'm still figuring it out.
Okay, that's actually a great point as such, because again, from a third person perspective, you're a professional gamer, so you should be able to play all games. That's incorrect to say, because if you're an athlete, if you're a sports person, you're still a sports person in a particular sport. What I hear you saying is commit. Like you gotta commit to one game and give it all. And does it make you wonder what if it was another game, or you are 100% sold? This is it.
I'm sold that this is it. Now, to challenge myself, yes, I've started learning new games to see will I be able to answer your question. Can you go competitive in another title also if you're playing one? So for Abish Matthew, I will do that. I am going to try really hard and see if I can answer that question in a couple of years.
What are those mistakes that most of the noob new pro gamers do that you wish you could tell them कि भाई बात सुन, ऐसे नहीं करते, ये करते हैं? You can tell that to me.
So some mistakes that I have also done, and I have noticed a lot of people doing it, for playing with a shotgun initially or a machine gun and thinking you are Arnold, and you will go all guns blazing, but that doesn't work in competitive Counter-Strike. I used to play with a lot of nades also, कि नहीं आएगा तो मैं सिर्फ nade कर दूंगा मुंह पे, and the guy will die. But it doesn't work in competitive CS. So you have to learn all the utilities, you have to learn all the guns, you have to understand how the game works. Only then you can call yourself a pro gamer.
So is it important for every pro gamer to get so comfortable with every weapon that depends on your role in the game, you can switch your weapons as well?
Like I was saying, now I am an entry fragger. Most of the time I play with rifles, but I also know how to use the AWP. Now, when I have a low HP, and I know that one AK bullet or one M4 bullet is going to kill me, that's when I kind of ask my opper to give me the op and give him my AK. I know not every weapon you can master, but you should know how to use everything, and you should have few weapons where you can turn rounds which are already lost in your favor.
So I would like to get one more point from you, which is about like somebody like me who wants to get into professional gaming, even as an enthusiast, or imagine if someone wants to get competitive. How important is it for an individual gamer to play with multiple groups out there so that you can come with the strategy and play together? Or is the objective that new players should only play with one team so that you sync well together?
See, you should definitely indulge in the community, because a lot of players will do things differently from things that you do, and you could learn. But again, switching teams is not what I advise people. If you're starting, start with the 5 people whom you trust, who have a long vision, who can be consistent, who are passionate, who will not keep going here and there just because you are losing some tournaments. You need consistency, and that's how the team chemistry is built. Only these things will bring consistency.
On a scale of skill, strategy, how important is map awareness?
There are certain angles on the map where you could see the enemy first. There are no hidden places as such, because we have played a lot of these maps multiple times, so we know each angle and we know all the spots that are there in the map. You have to understand how the players are moving in the map by looking at the radar, by seeing how the team is playing, what time the team is pushing, all these things.
It brings me completely smoothly into something that I personally am something I feel very connected to. It's developing a skill. I feel like you're talented, and then after that it comes to your hard work developing a particular skill. Is that what you would call battling with bots comes first, or with an AI, or with a computer? Or do you directly recommend people like us to throw yourselves into the deep end ki ab jao professionals ke sath multiplayer khelo?
I started playing with bots. I used to keep killing them to understand burst fire, to understand single taps, to understand what's my spray control is like, how I need to improve. Then you can start playing multiplayers, like online with your friends, so that you learn team communication, you learn a little bit of strategies, official maps. Then you can start playing tournaments to see where you stand, how much more you need to improve. So it's like level 1, level 2, level 3.
Any other way that someone like me can become a professional player other than just spending time? Anything else we could do?
You can just pray to the god otherwise, and if he decides, then magic will happen. Or else you have to give time. There is no other way.
Do you think these gaming gods exist on YouTube, and how much of watching it tutorials does it really help?
So these all gamers, streamers, and websites and articles, all these things will help you get you closer to where you want to be. But eventually I think you have to kind of build your own play style, understand how what are your pros and cons, and that is only going to help you in the longer run.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about someone like a noob like me, about the graphics card? What is the refresh rate? How important is it when you're playing?
If you are playing casually, like AAA titles, heavy titles like Doom Eternal, GTA, Assassin's Creed, Witcher 3, these are some of the heavy titles, AAA games, and you want to play on maxed out graphics, you need a good graphic card like a 2080 RTX or 2070 RTX. Refresh rate, I would definitely recommend you to go for Alienware 25 to 40 Hz. You will feel the difference. You will see improving your game when you switch from playing on 60 Hz and then playing on the Alienware 240 Hz. Also, the Alienware laptops, one thing that I love about them, the cooling on these laptops is pretty amazing. I remember once or twice I've played on my friend's laptop and it used to heat a lot. When I play on my Alienware machines, it doesn't heat that much.
Wow, I feel like I could sit with you for days and I can just like little by little noodle all the information I need out of you. But let's see what I've learned so far. What I've realized it's the extreme commitment that every sports person has in a conventional sporting event is the same mental and physical commitment that you need to do as a pro gamer.
Basically, pro gaming does not happen overnight. It requires practice, patience, and perseverance. But the gaming industry, I feel, is so much more and so much bigger than pro gaming. And the next mentor session is about all the different careers you can take up in this industry.
Thank you for having me for the Dell Futurist Level Up Mentor session, man. And I shall definitely tune in for the next one. All right, Ankit, I shall see you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.